Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 6th episode of the Hussein Mohammed podcast. I'm your host, the young Iraqi voice actor Hussein. And as always, if you'd like to skip to any part of this podcast, you can do so through the chapters feature on YouTube or the timestamps in the description. Now, today's guest, he's my best online friend, someone who supported me pretty much every step of my voice acting career, more than anyone else, other than my mom. He's a carpenter and an absolute master craftsman. You should see that one time he carved a small chest. That was pretty crazy. And also an epic gamer with a 2,000 subscriber YouTube channel. I'd like to welcome the amazing Joe, aka Joe the Squid, to the podcast.
Thank you.
What's up, man?
Oh man, what an intro that was. Absolutely
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you for having me on.
Of course, man. How are you doing? What's up? How are things?
Doing fantastic. I went to work today, but the whole day I was like, oh man, the moment 5 o'clock comes along, I'm getting on the podcast and it's gonna be amazing. I get to talk to my mate.
Yeah, man.
It's been amazing. It's been amazing waiting for this to happen.
For real, man. I've been so excited. Honestly, the fact that this got interrupted, like because we had you had a sore throat, and I was like had a very busy week. I couldn't make this happen on Wednesday, but we're here, man.
We're here. We did it.
We're here.
They thought they could stop us. They thought they could bring us down. Nothing.
For real.
Nothing can get in the way.
Nothing.
Absolutely
Nothing. Not work. Not
the plague.
We're here.
We're all
not the plague. Yeah.
That almost
we're here,
killed
man.
Me,
we're here.
That almost killed me. Oh god, it was so
man.
bad. But we're here.
What? Your sore throat? You mean?
Yeah. Oh my god. It was the first.
What happened there?
It was the first time I've taken a day off ill in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I woke up. I usually wake up for work at 6:45, and then I get into work at 7:45. And I woke up on Wednesday morning at quarter to 9, and I like looked at my phone and I was like, oh my god, I'm late. And I like got up, I sat up, and I was like, oh, this ain't happening. I'm not going in the day.
Yeah.
It was awful. And then I realized like, oh my god, in like 3 days I'm recording this podcast, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Man, but you're so dedicated. Like the stuff you tell me about your work, like how do you do so much work? Like how your work ethic is crazy.
Yeah. I've always, well, I say I've always had a strong work ethic. I haven't. A strong work ethic was put into me through working. So like school, normal, I got all right grades. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I never took, like, I never skipped class or took time off when I didn't need it, because that just sort of isn't the way I am. But I went into work sort of thinking the same, like, oh, this is just something that you do. This isn't anything special. It's like school. But I saw people around me in the trade that I'm in, and they were producing work that was so amazing to watch, like the way they made it, the things they were making. Even when the customers come to pick up the work, the looks on their faces.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, I want to be like them. And they all worked hard, worked long. A lot of them didn't have a life outside of work, which is one thing that I said I wouldn't do. I wanted to work.
Yeah.
I wanted a life outside of work. But now, when I'm at work, I'm at work. So
yeah.
But that's just me. That's just me.
That's awesome. And the fact that, you said you picked it up and it wasn't like really instilled in you, like you developed it by like being inspired by other people. I think that's really cool because it's pretty much the same for me. Like I never skipped class either. Like I was always like a, straight, like I didn't skip class or didn't do like any shenanigans or whatever. I didn't participate in any of that. But I also wasn't like a super focused student or like anything like that. I was just kind of there for the most part until I found voice acting. And of course, I didn't have a crazy work ethic at the start, but the more I researched and the more I listened to advice and saw what people were doing, I was like, I got to get better at this. And that's why, at some point I bought the equipment. I bought the equipment that I have right now because I was like, like you just see other people, as you said, do amazing stuff and do amazing work. It is inspiration. You're like, okay, so all those people are doing that work. I can do that too. I can do something maybe even better than that. I can do it my own way, and that's I think that's really cool, man. That's really interesting.
Absolutely.
So like when did this passion for carpentry start? Like what got that into you?
Um, it's quite interesting, actually,
Mm,
because it was never something when I was younger that I necessarily wanted to go into. It was
mm,
I started out like everyone, you don't know what you do, what you want to do, so you think, well, what I thought was, what do I like doing in life?
mm.
I liked eating. Okay, I was a fat kid. All right, I liked eating. So what did I want to
Yeah.
do? I wanted to become a chef.
Oh.
So when um what lesson was it? Oh my god. It was design and technology, shortened down to
Mm.
DT. And in design and technology, you learn about like textiles, cooking, engineering, carpentry, like general like handicraft sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I will pay attention to all the cooking classes. I will try my best. I will branch out. I'll do all this. And
Mhm.
it was fun,
Yeah.
but I recognized it as something that was just fun. Like I knew I couldn't really go into it as a career because I just wasn't interested in it in that sort of way. It was fun, and I still enjoy it. I still enjoy cooking to this day, but I couldn't imagine myself working in the kitchen or something like that. So
Mm.
a few years passed, and I thought, okay, what should I do? Games. I love games. I
Oh,
love games
yeah.
so much. I play them every day. I've been playing them since I was like 6. Like hell, I'll do games. So I went into game design for a
Ooh, I
very
didn't know
short period of
that.
time. Very short
Mm.
period of time. I mean, well, it wasn't like I was 15, 16 going into game design.
Mm.
So it was a little project in school. Everyone did it, but again, I went into it and I was like, I will really try. I'm gonna really try, and I
Mm.
liked it, but it wasn't what I thought it was going to be like. It just didn't.
Mm.
It didn't interest me. Again, same sort of thing.
Yeah.
It just didn't interest me. So I went back to sort of square one and was just carrying on. I knew I didn't have to make any sort of commitment to anything just yet.
Mm.
But in the last 2 years of what we call secondary school, sort of like high school, so you leave high school when you're 18.
Yeah.
Um, so, or do you? No, 17 you leave.
Well, I mean,
16 you
when you're
leave.
8, it's around well
16. Oh my god, I can't remember. 16. You
wait,
leave at
so
16.
yeah, and then you go
And
to
then you go to
secondary?
college. And then you go to
Yeah, oh,
college
yeah,
until
well,
you're 18.
yeah, I mean, it's different. I think it's different
Yeah.
for I mean, for us here, it's just basically, elementary till 6,
Hmm.
till like for 6 years, then middle school for 3 years, and then high school for another 3 years, and then so it's
Yeah.
like you're 18.
No,
Yeah.
we haven't got that at all. So we've got a primary school
Mhm.
which you start at 4 and then you leave at 11, and then you've
Oh,
got high school, or what we call secondary school, so primary and
yeah.
secondary. Secondary school lasts from when you're 11 to when you're 16 or 17, one of those ages. I can't
Mhm.
remember. I think it might be 17 now. And then
Yeah.
you can go straight into a job from there. But most people
Mhm.
go on to either sixth form, which is basically like extended secondary school, but it goes a lot more in
Mm.
depth, or college, like I did. I went to college and I got an apprenticeship. But before that, I'm skipping my story a little bit.
Yeah.
So before that, I
Yeah.
was I was taking the last 2 years of secondary school. You do what's called
Mhm.
GCSEs, which are like, obviously you do all of like your main core subjects like English, maths, science, history, that sort of stuff. Actually, no, history isn't
Yeah.
one of them. History isn't one of them. So you're like the
Okay.
stuff you need for life, and then you
Mhm.
pick 3 optional GCSEs and 1 mandatory. And what that means is the
Mm.
mandatory one is either a language, geography, or history. You have to pick one of those three.
Mm.
I picked
Yeah.
history, which is why I got confused. And then the
Hmm.
three that you could choose was just like free for all. You get to do the classes that you want to do for life.
And this is in secondary
This
school?
is in secondary school. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
So you'd go to classes for the day, and it'd have like maths, English, the stuff that you'd have every day, and then
Yeah.
you'd go to like, so I took engineering, computer science, and ICT.
Yeah.
So I do like 2 hours of engineering, and then I go to ICT, and then maybe a bit of history, and then it just puts you more into lessons that you feel like you would have a need for in life.
Yeah.
And then when you finish secondary school, your end of year exam gives you what is called GCSEs. That's the lesson and the reward are called the same thing, which is kind of confusing when
Oh.
you're explaining it. So you take GCSEs to receive GCSEs.
That.
And different
Oh.
classes
Okay.
give you different points. This is
Hmm.
getting confusing.
Yeah, it
It's
is pretty confusing. Yeah.
I'm only just realizing this now that I'm explaining it.
Yeah.
So, for example, science goes into chemistry, biology, and physics. So
Yeah.
you'd get a GCSE for each one of these, but overall
Hmm.
you'd get 3 science GCSEs. So if you wanted to become a scientist, they might ask you like, well, how many GCSEs do you have in science? And if you've got 2, they might be a
Yeah.
little bit like, nah, but if you've got all 3, they're like, yes, we'll have you. That's something we want,
Oh.
So that's how you get
And like
graded.
when you're going to college, you
Yeah,
mean?
when you
Or
when you go into college, it
Oh.
jobs might ask you for your GCSEs as well, but it's mainly to
Hmm.
go into other education. So I took engineering because I'm good with my hands. Well,
Yeah.
I'm good with my hands now, and I was back in the day,
Yeah.
but I always sort of struggled with textiles, carpentry, even carpentry, engineering. I
Mm.
struggled because it was new. It wasn't something that everyone's used to doing. You're a young age. I enjoyed working my hands, and I was better at it than like sitting down writing. I could sit and work on this thing in carpentry for 2 hours, and it would look
Yeah.
awful at the end of it. But for those 2 hours, I would be sat there in my element working.
Yeah.
And which is
Laser focus.
absolutely, which is not something I could do
Yeah.
in maths. So what was I saying?
You
Engineering.
were talking about yeah.
I took engineering. I enjoyed engineering. It
Hmm.
gave me an engineer's mind, lots of detail. They love detail in engineering. They love it.
Mm.
If you're explaining how you do something, it's you have to do this because of this, 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 and that. You have to give
Yeah.
so many reasons for doing everything, and you work into
Hmm.
like half a millimeter. It's so tight.
Yeah.
But then I went into an engineering college. I passed everything and got what I needed to get. Went into an engineering college
Mm.
and hated it. I
Oh.
absolutely hated it. And I thought, like, all right, I don't like it, but this is just life. You go and you do things that you
Mm.
don't really enjoy, but you get money and you live, basically.
Yeah.
Until one day, I was sat down in tutor. So once a week we had a tutor lesson, which is I don't even to this day I can't even tell you what it was about. It was random each class lesson. Like we had like a seminar on like don't take drugs, gambling is bad, sort of stuff that you already
Oh.
know, but they just have to tell you, and
Yeah.
it's like okay. And then
Yeah.
they made a little comment at the end of it, and they basically
Mm.
said, um, at the end of this week, this is the last week of like the college grace period. So it's sort of like
Hmm.
within those first 5 weeks of college, you can change colleges, you can change like what you want to do, like classes and stuff like that. Very, very
Yeah.
easy because a lot of people go into stuff that they're not entirely sure about and they want to change. So for the first 5 weeks, it's
Mm.
very easy. Then after those 5 weeks, classes sort of like lock down a little bit and it's much
Yeah.
harder to change. And they said at the end of this week is the deadline for changing classes. And it
Mm.
scared the living hell out of me I sat
Yeah.
there and I was like, I'm wasting my time here. I am wasting my time. If I do this, I won't be happy. So I went onto my phone at the end of that lesson and I Googled colleges near me because I was in an engineering college, but you have more like
Yeah.
general colleges and stuff that do a bit of everything. And I Googled colleges near me and I walked 45 minutes across town to this other college,
Yeah.
went in, and I went up to the head to like the front desk and I was like, look, I'm going down the road. I'm at this college. I don't want to be there. I want to do carpentry joinery.
Mm.
And they said we'll see what we can do. So they went on the computer, they typed in a few things, and then they made a call, and they're just like, oh yeah, no, we're just wondering if there's any spaces for another student in carpentry and joinery. And then they went, okay, no problem at all. Put the phone down. They looked at me and went, no, we're full. And then just went back to the computer, and I was stood there, like, I'm out of options here. Like, I don't know what to do. And she had to look up and say, like, could you please leave? And I was like, oh my god, like, it felt like, even though my life was like only beginning, it felt like
Yeah.
that's it. You're going nowhere now. You're in engineering.
Yeah.
So I I went over to my mum. I spoke to my dad, and I was like, look, this is happening. I was panicking, and my dad said like, okay, there's because my parents are separated.
Mhm.
Mum lives over on this part of the country. My dad lives over on this part of the country, and he says, look, there's a
Mhm.
college near me that say they've got a space if you want to take it. So I came over. I had an interview with them, and they showed me around the workshops, and it was wonderful. The reason I
Yeah.
got so nervous about engineering, the reason I didn't like it so much, was because they told us in the first week there, and of course I'm good with my hands, and I wanted to work with my
Mhm.
hands. They said, if you're looking for practical, working with tools, properly getting into it, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Engineering now is
Yeah.
all done on computers. You put stuff into machines and machines do it all automated. They said
Yeah.
3 days out of the 2 years you are here, you will be doing stuff with hand tools. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I was
Yeah.
terrified. The whole time I was at carpentry college, I
Mhm.
had a saw in my hand. I was hammering on a chisel. It was exactly where I wanted to be, and I loved it.
Yeah.
And because I loved it, I
Man,
put so much effort into these classes, and I got an award actually.
that's
I have a
awesome.
glass trophy up on my wall just over there that I got
Yeah.
for carpentry, and it's one of the proudest things I've ever done. So
Man.
it
Yeah.
was it was a long journey, very long journey.
That's so fucking cool, man. I never knew the entire journey. That is crazy.
Yeah, man.
Man. Yeah, getting into engineering, honestly, I think, you said you like to work with your hands, you like to work with tools.
Mm.
Um, so were you interested in like math and physics in school at all?
Um, I mean, I was interested in the way of I had to, like I had to do
Mm.
it. I struggled a
Yeah.
lot with maths. Like specifically with like algebra and stuff. Like I understood
Yeah.
replacing the letters for numbers, that was easy to me, but it was all of like when like brackets got involved and like you've
Oh
got
yeah.
like x minus 2 plus 3 is equal to like y over 2 times the power of 4. I was
Yeah.
confused as to how you got all of that. I learned it in the end, but it was difficult. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
But what I really enjoyed um outside of working with my hands was chemistry, which I guess is kind of working with your hands because
Mm.
we mix a lot of material and explosions happened. It's cool.
Yeah.
But it was English. Um, was it English literature or English? Oh, we had two different English classes. English writing, I think,
Yeah.
was the other one. So in one, you learn about like poetry and like you read a book and it's like, why does you know the meme,
Oh
the
yeah.
door was red, what does this mean? That sort of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. Yeah.
And then the other class, which was my favorite, was creative writing, sitting down. One of my favorite tasks was you get given a picture and they put a picture at the front of
Yeah.
the class and they say, write a like 10 chapter story based on
Mhm.
this photo. and you can go in
Yeah,
any direction you wanted. That was some of my favorite classes. I loved it.
man. That is so cool. And that, yeah, you've written a few horror stories, right? You sent me one. I think
Yeah.
when it was last Halloween, right? I
The
think
time before last Halloween, I think, or the time before that. Yeah,
yeah,
I can remember it. I think I still have it saved on my
yeah,
computer. Oh, that was very fun actually. That was very very fun.
man. That is
Yeah,
so
dude.
cool,
But
bro. I think yeah.
I was well,
Go ahead, go ahead.
I was about to ask like with me like working with my hands and being more like practical and stuff like that. Were you sort of like the
Hmm.
same when you were in school? Obviously, you only well, I say you only recently just like discovered voice acting for yourself, but you were still in
Hmm.
school.
Yeah.
Did that sort of did you sort of get a little bit more bored of the more sit down lessons because you realized like I've got this incredible tool that is my voice. Why am I
Mm.
studying maths and English and stuff like that? Like, did you have anything to do with that? Because I discovered carpentry for myself when I was outside of school. So
Mm. Yeah. Okay. So basically, here in Iraq, we, you've heard you love the podcast. You've heard a
I've
lot of the
heard
episodes,
many
all
things
all
which
of
I'm
the
surprised
episodes.
at. Yes.
Yeah. You know that I've said so many times that art education, anything that is like actually engaging to the student here in Iraq does not exist. It is all practical, all of it. Even chemistry class, they used to take us to a lab, like at the our school. Thankfully, our school is actually like a good
Mm.
school. It's like the best school in Baghdad. It's called Baghdad College. It's a school. It's called Baghdad College. It's incredible. Uh, and it's like, thankfully, it is a really good school. We have a physics lab, and we have a biology lab, and a chemistry lab.
Wow.
Um, we have used none of them.
Oh.
None of them. We have gone there. We sat there, but it's just a lesson. It's just you sit at the lab, but it's a whiteboard, and the teacher is doing the same thing they would do in class.
Oh man.
Um, the only time that I got to do something that is practical was like literally one time in biology class, where they gave us microscopes. And that was one time. I don't even remember it. I barely remember it. It was like we could look at like some cell or something, and that's it. That's
Oh
it.
man.
My entire school, everything, we did nothing, man. It's crazy. It is crazy how limiting it is. And hearing your stories about like, oh, this class influenced me in that way, the writing class, like I see so much of the education in school that you had and in college ingrained in you.
Yeah.
It created you, it supported you in a certain way. And you genuinely see none of that here in Iraq. None.
Jesus.
School puts down, it doesn't elevate anyone here. It's crazy. Um, so you like I never even got the chance to explore anything in art. I didn't get to draw anything unique. I didn't get to act. I didn't get to do music. I didn't get to do any of that stuff. I didn't get to explore any of that. School actually like makes a joke out of those things. Basically, like that they don't care. It's all theoretical. It's all whiteboard. It's all memorization. You'd think the education system, for example, in a country like America, has a lot of flaws, and it's like a lot of people consider it terrible or bad. You should come to Iraq, man. You should come to Iraq and
Yeah.
see how much worse it is. Um, like I don't know, man. The thing is, the education system is the basis of society. That's the most focus should be placed on making the teachers qualified, on making schools well funded, um, and just the curriculum to be like actually engaging to the student and actually cultivates something within them, right?
Absolutely.
Uh, but no, school here is the exact opposite. It's crazy. And so I've always, even despite that, always as a kid, I've always had an interest in physics. I've always loved I was always interested in astrophysics actually when I was since I was a
Wow.
little kid. Yeah.
Jeez.
Uh Yeah, I love Neil deGrasse Tyson. I love those YouTube videos that spoke about, all that stuff. I know a lot of people are interested in them, but I genuinely, at some point in my life, and a long time in my life, I still even consider it to this day. I always was like, oh, I want to be an astrophysicist. That was the only thing in my life that I was like, okay, this is something that I might want. But even that wasn't really explored. It wasn't cultivated. The teachers didn't care. It's just like memorization. It's just memorization in school. None of that is like elevated past the textbook. The textbook's supposed to give you the information, and then the teacher's supposed to expand on that, right? They're supposed to, you know, uh, give you sense of wonder or basically um, give it a new dimension. They're not just supposed to read off the textbook, write the question on the board, and then have everyone solve them, and that's it. But that's literally all my school life. Like my school life is teachers reading off the textbook, literally, just literally reading off of it. Sometimes translating it terribly, terribly,
Oh,
terribly.
yeah.
Um, that's it. And that's it. None of them like only I think I've only known very few teachers. Recently one teacher in my last year of high school, our English teacher. I think his name was Haytham. He was the only one that actually put passion and love into teaching English and like just gave things more of a story, expanded, made the class interesting and energetic. He was like a bit of an older guy, but he just made it interesting. And that's the only time like our standards are so low for teachers here that like people praise a teacher for like just not giving you more homework or that's really it. Like no people are like you rarely do you see people praise want a higher standard from their teachers, want a higher standard from their education because they don't know what that's like. They don't understand. They just think it's like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be. I'm just supposed to sit down, memorize this book. That's school. Memorize this entire book front to back, write everything that I remembered here in my brain in the exam, and that's it. And then um, the only year that counts is the final year of high school. That's the only year that counts towards
Yeah,
college.
I remember you talking about that in another podcast, like the memorization part about how you
Yeah.
just have the same test and you just got to remember what goes in what box. You write it down, you go through. Like that to me is just wrong. That is so
Yeah.
so wrong. That is
Yeah, man.
I can't imagine it because that was the thing is we had um when we were studying for our GCSEs, we had mock exams. So like for like the last 2 years of school, you'd have like two every year,
Mm.
three in total before your actual ones, in which you're given like previous papers that have already gone through. So you're actually like your practices are like last year's actual tests and
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And going through the book, I mean, like, sure, there are similarities, but in the sense of like there was a pie chart here and there's a pie chart in the one I actually took. There was a question
Yeah.
upon speed here and a question about speed in the other book. But everything so different. You actually have to
Yeah.
not you do have to memorize things, but you're not memorizing
Hmm.
answers. You're memorizing formulas. You're
Yeah.
remembering, oh, this is x plus y equals z. You know, you're not memorizing
Yeah.
like, oh, 32 goes in that one because I remember it because I got it wrong last time. Like it's
That's
crazy.
no, but what you said is literally what happens here. It's literally what happens. I'm telling you, our standard is genuinely, I'm gonna say it in the most violent way. It is so shit. It is so shit that the students protest. I'm saying protest when the questions are difficult and not straight from the book.
Oh my
I'm not kidding.
god.
They actually go to the ministry and they're like, how dare you do this to us? We studied straight from the book. I memorized every question, and you didn't bring that question. You didn't bring the exact questions, and you said you were going to do that. The problem is the ministry says we're going to bring exactly the
Oh
questions from the book. It's going to be from the
Jesus.
book. And it's like,
Oh.
why? Why? I don't understand. I'm genuinely so passionate about this issue. I'm thankful that I know a person. I've spoken about this person, I think, on the podcast as well. Her name is Miss Show.
Mm.
I met her in the English Language Olympics. She was basically like a hype woman for the thing. And she's really awesome. And she does basically she has a kindergarten, and she just instills that type of like creative energy and that love for education into children. And I think that's more like that's the thing that should be instilled into those kids and should be put like that type of love for art, for learning, that energy, inspiration, all that stuff should be put into kids and should be taught onto the new generation.
Yeah.
And I really didn't understand, like until recently, I didn't understand her exact goals until I really thought about it. Why she started a kindergarten, and I was like, "That's so interesting." She's fixing it from the bottom up.
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful. I think that's really beautiful. That's what that's what she did because she also I'm sure she shares the same sentiments that I have about the education system. And so getting back to your question, yeah, we didn't have art class. I didn't know I didn't even I thought, I said this previous episode.
Yeah.
I thought art was stupid. I didn't know. I was like, why do people get paid so much for acting and like drawing or movies? Like, it's not very important. And then I also tried things as you did. I tried different things, not going into different classes because we don't have that. We don't actually get the opportunity to pick our classes. It's gotten so bad. Like we used to even have a choice. All right, this is something. For many years, you had the choice, and it's a quote unquote choice because it's like barely makes a difference. But you could either go the like physics applied branch, or you could go to the biological branch where you study more biology based stuff. And basically, each one affords you different colleges and different GPAs and different standards. But the differences are so minute. The applied branch, nothing is applied. It's probably even more theoretical. And it's just like very small additions. Oh, chapter removed from the book, chapter added from the book. That's it. And but at least, our standards are so shit. At least we had a choice. Now they completely removed it and merged the two. So you have no choice in anything anymore in your education. Anything. Every school is the same. Every class is just a teacher walks in, says some stuff from the book, memorize it, go to a test every single year. And what I'm thankful for is, of course, like after voice acting, I don't really speak about. I've spoken about the English language Olympics thing, but that's after I discovered voice acting, I had this opportunity. I heard from our school that they were looking for people to participate in this thing, English language Olympics. And I was kind of like, okay, should I apply? Should I not apply? I was hesitant at first because I didn't know. But I was like, I spoke to my mom. She was like, you have to sign up to this. You have to do it. And she like, I wanted to do it at some point. I really wanted to do it, but she egged me on even further. And she was like, you have to do this because it's a new experience. You don't get to do this stuff. And it's also an opportunity to travel. Because, if you finish the thing in the local competition, you get to go to Jordan, which is outside of Iraq. So, I participated in it, and I'm so glad I did because that's literally the only positive experience I can recount from school. The only good thing that my school has done for me is it had afforded me this opportunity to participate in this English language Olympics. I got to lead a team. I got to do so many creative things and actually explore putting that stuff into practical use. Putting some of my skills into practical use and seeing where it takes me. But I also didn't take it too seriously. I wanted to win, of course. I put every ounce of my energy into it. But at the same time, I didn't have a competitive mindset or whatever because it's still like stuff in the Middle East is like it was a new thing to me as well. I didn't really know what I was doing. So that's the only time where I put practical stuff to use in school. Voice acting had always been detached from my school life completely.
Mm.
Um, I couldn't apply anything I knew from arts, anything that I knew from music, anything, any of my passions, of my actual passions into school. Not once. And I don't think I would be able to do it in college because even our colleges are not, they're not much different. It's just like school, but with a little more freedom. So, that's why I took a gap year because I don't really want to deal with that. I want to actually put all of my energy into voice acting and into this only passion that I have. I mean, I have other passions, of course. I'm getting into music more. I spoke to my friend about this. I want to really actually get into music fully at some point. Um, and like actually focus on like producing music, maybe making like an EP or like a mixtape album thing, maybe.
Mm.
I have because I've been producing some tracks, and basically I produced some tracks like skeletons of a track, and it's just an idea that pops into my head a lot of the time, and I just keep it there. I don't mess with it. I don't go back to it immediately. I just leave it there for a while, and then I come back to. I'm like, I know I'm gonna come back to this later. It's like I want to have a backlog of material. I want to have a base of material that I can just at some point when I'm like, I want to get into this seriously, I can just be like, yo, I have all this stuff. I have all this material that I can work on and I can get into and like actually make something out of. And that's really how I did voice acting. That's really my philosophy with a lot of stuff. It's my philosophy with voice acting as well. Because what I did was I build a backlog for myself. I make a really good base. I try to get as good of a base as possible, and I try to build on top of that. So yeah, like I think our education lives are super different. But it's so cool that the thing that connects a lot of people is the passion
Mm.
for the things and wanting to be happy and wanting to be fulfilled. And I don't think a lot of people like there's so many people that don't understand that. That
Yeah.
instead of doing what you did and going to that other college and trying to find their passion, they're just like, this is what it is. I'm just gonna be complacent in my life. I'm just gonna move on. I'm just gonna just do what I have to do, and that's it. And people like live miserable lives. It's terrible. It's
Yeah.
terrible. So yeah, man, it's so interesting to hear that. And so like, at what point? So how did you study carpentry in college, and at what point did you get a job, and how did that ball start rolling into
Okay.
where you are right now?
The actual the actual college part, sorry, carpentry part of my career.
Mhm.
Um, so how carpentry came about before and after engineering was carpentry's always been a part of my life since I was incredibly young, and I'm talking
Mm.
incredibly young. So my granddad, I might have talked about him before. He
Mhm.
came over from Poland during World War II, and he the Polish people back in the day um sort of went into one of two things. They either went
Mm.
into farming or carpentry. They
Mm.
were two incredibly big businesses, trades in Poland.
Yeah.
So my granddad at a very young age had this infused into him, and he came over here after the war and started going out on his own, fitting doors, big construction sites. He'd go and do all the timber and stuff. He was really really good at what he'd done.
Mm.
Um, and I can remember it's one of my earliest memories where I would go into he had all of his tools in the shed, and I'd go out into the shed and I'd just stand there and I wouldn't even touch anything. I just look at it all. He had all of these like hand cranked drills and
Yeah.
saws that were razor sharp. He had chisels that you could shave with. and it was all laid out all nice, and I'd just stand there and I'd
Mm.
smell like the wood stain and the oil, and like you could smell like the metal in the air from where he had been sharpening
Yeah.
things, and I loved it. And
Mm.
it was never something at that age that I thought I could do this. I always loved it. I always had a real love for it, but I never got to try it. So I think I never really. Well, I mean, I got to try it in school, but it was a bit different because it's more educationally, stuff. It wasn't really the
Yeah.
same. But it it was never something that I had fully attempted. So it was never something I realized that I would actually really enjoy doing.
Mm.
And I can remember this was before I excuse me. This was before I'd done my engineering college. I was sat
Mhm.
in the car with my mum. I was getting driven through all these country roads. I can't remember where it was, but I can picture it in my head. And we got to this junction where my mum couldn't see around the bend, and I just said like,
Mhm.
I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I went to like check for traffic to like let my mum out, and she said, just why don't you do carpentry? And I sort of like paused, and I looked at her, and I was like, that's a really good idea. That's like a really, really good
Yeah.
idea. And I looked for a college near my mum because that's where I was living at the time, and there was nothing nearby, which is why I went into engineering because I thought, well, if you can't do one, I'll do the next best thing. Engineering, I get to work with my hands. It's just with metal instead of wood. Then obviously
Yeah.
everything happened,
Mm.
and then I went into college. So I done college for my first year, and the first year is, oh my god, it's the most basic thing imaginable. Okay, it is
Yeah.
literally like this is how you hold a hammer. That's what a nail is, and a screw looks different. It looks like this instead. That's literally all
Yeah.
it is. And they do a mixture of both. So you've got carpentry and you've got joinery. So
Mm.
what joinery is getting a big length of wood or a few big lengths of
Yeah.
wood. You put it through a load of machines. You hand cut a few things. You put it all together and you make this door.
Yeah.
Now, what a carpenter would do is he would take that door that's just been made and put it into a house. So that's the difference between
Mm.
carpentry and joinery. Carpentry is fitting things into a house, and joinery is making um, those items.
Yeah.
And I I tried out both. My granddad was a carpenter, but joinery was more my style. I preferred joinery.
Mm. Yeah.
That's when I did a few good things, which got me my award.
Yeah.
I met a few good people. I made friends with all of my lecturers. I got the work done. It got to the stage where I had a job at the time. I was working 3 hours away, um, making kitchens. So I would
Yeah.
I would go to college on the Monday, Tuesday. On Wednesday, we had a half day, which I would skip.
Yeah.
I would get picked up at 3 o'clock in the morning on the Wednesday morning, drive up to the place, start work, do extremely long hours, and come back on either the Friday or the Saturday in the evening. And the reason I could do that was because I was on the Wednesday, it was theory day. So it was no practical,
Yeah.
it was like actually learning more like construction papers, specifications,
Mm.
legislation, all the health and safety side of stuff. It's a headache, but you had to do it. And I could skip that because I would actually finish the practical work so quickly that I could actually finish those lessons in the practical workshop, just quickly just jot down all the answers because I just knew it, and then
Yeah.
just skip out the next day and work instead. Um, and anyway, I had a big falling out with my boss. He was not a very nice guy to
Yeah.
work for. Um, so I fell out with him. I was going to do an apprenticeship with him, cancelled my apprenticeship, and went back to my college. And I said, look, I want to do a level two. It's called full time and part time. So part time was
Mhm.
doing an apprenticeship. Full time is doing like half a week at college. So I was like,
Yeah.
I want to do a level two full time. because that's what I'm doing now. It's comfortable. I'll find another space in another company, and then I'll rework an apprenticeship back into my course. And they said, well, you're gonna have a little bit of a problem there because joinery doesn't actually do a level 2 full time, so you're gonna have to find an apprenticeship. And I was like, oh my god, well, this kind of
Mm.
sucks. I managed to find one with the company I'm with now. A
Yeah.
friend of a friend recommended me, and
Mm.
I've been there for 4 years now. I think I've been there.
Yeah.
Really enjoying it. And yeah, I done an apprenticeship for. It was meant to be a 2-year course.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost 3 because COVID happened.
Oh. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that slowed everything down.
Yeah.
I became a slight alcoholic because,
Mm.
and I'm not even saying that lightly, I was drinking a lot of booze because I was 18.
Mm.
England shut down on my 18th birthday.
Wow.
It
Yeah.
sucked. It was literally, it
Yeah.
sucked. I was fresh into the world, wanted to do my thing, and it was all shaft. So I
Yeah.
was on my brand new PC that I bought 2 months before, playing
Mm.
games until 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was
Yeah.
drinking a bottle of vodka a week, and it
Wow.
was not okay. It was not okay.
Yeah.
And then we came out of lockdown, and I had a job again, and then I cut it all
Yeah.
off, and I'm fine now. But it was one of those times where you look back on it and you're like, damn, that was
Yeah.
unhealthy living. But it was
Yeah,
good.
man.
What else are you meant to do when you're 18 and you're getting paid £250 a week to sit at home
Yeah.
in front of your PC for 3 months? you you sort of
Yeah,
you
man.
find other ways to entertain yourself. But I mean, lockdown hit
Yeah.
us all weirdly. So it is what it is.
Yeah, man. That's
Yeah.
tough. That's tough. Like the fact that you had a trajectory in front of you and then it suddenly just
Yeah,
cut off.
yeah, it did suck.
Yeah.
All I wanted was I didn't care how long the lockdown happened. I didn't care how long COVID went on for. I just wanted to come out of it and still have that job that I worked like the past 2 years of my life to get,
Yeah.
and finish my apprenticeship and just survive through it. And I did. So I
Yeah.
can't complain. Excuse me. I can't complain. I never complain about lockdown. It is what it is. Um,
Yeah, man.
I had it very, very easy. Very, very easy. But,
Man. Yeah. It's good that you came out of that, and it's good that you are where you are right now. I think it's so cool to that I don't know anyone that has, like, just such a focus that you do. Like, it feels um, like you have everything together. I don't know if that's true. It feels like you have everything
I
together.
can't complain.
Um,
I can't complain about where I am.
yeah.
That is for
Yeah,
sure.
man, it's wonderful. It is I think it's inspirational, the fact that, you found what you wanna do and you, um, chase that. You still chase that, yeah?
Yeah, but what's funny is I think exactly the
Mhm.
same thing about you. Genuinely. I will I like I think the problem is, and I think
Yeah,
I think we can both relate to this, is when you work hard yourself, you don't necessarily notice it because it's just the way you work. But when other
yeah,
people work hard, you can see it and you can go like, "Oh yeah, he's working
yeah,
hard." It's like for me, I do what I do for, like, I work 11-hour days, which seems long, but then I was thinking in my head
mhm.
like, "Oh, I get the Friday off," you know? So
Yeah,
in my eyes, I'm working 44 hours a week, but I'm doing it in 4 days, so it doesn't seem like a long time to
yeah,
me. But then with you, it's like I'll like a year ago or two, when we were like talking every day, and you were like really starting to get into your flow, and you were like sending loads of stuff out. I said like, oh yeah, do you wanna like game tonight? And you were like, man, I can't. I got to like record like 14 auditions, and I got to send them off, and I've got like these companies that I'm sending stuff to, and I can't like. I was sat there and I was thinking like, well, it sucks that we can't play, but at the same time, I'm like really glad that my mate is like working hard. He's doing what he wants to do. What you're saying now. I was
man,
thinking that, and it's really nice to see when other people are doing well and they're getting out there and they're actually putting themselves forward. You're an inspiration to me at the end of the day. You know,
man. That's so cool. I really, I cannot be more grateful for our friendship. Genuinely,
absolutely.
genuinely. I don't know, like, I would not be where I am without you, genuinely, because you have helped me and my mom so much. I cannot get into the details on the podcast, but brother, you have done so much for me. You are so kind. Um, you're so supportive, and you're fun to hang out with. Like, I don't know, man. Like, it's so cool. It is the coolest. You are one of the greatest blessings in my life.
Dude,
I'm not
man, I
kidding.
wouldn't have done it if you wouldn't call yourself, dude. Like, you think I just walk around at
Thanks,
everyone
man.
and I hand out like this help and I go like, oh yeah, I'll do this for you and I'll do that. Like, no, I don't. I do that because like you're one of
Yeah.
my like favorite people on this earth, honestly.
Oh man,
Like,
you are too.
we clicked, we just connected, and I am
Yeah.
so glad that we did. You know?
I bring you up a lot. Like, genuinely, sometimes I'm just talking about something. I'm like, yo, this, Joe. I don't know. I just talk about, like, sometimes when I'm talking with my girlfriend, talking with someone about like anything. And I just like, oh, I remember you or speak about you. Um, and I it's just so cool that we got to meet, and I think it's so interesting. You're saying that. I wanted to get back to that carpentry,
Mm-hmm.
how you got into everything, and at the same time, because at the same time that lockdown hit, for me, my mom was getting really sick. I spoke about this 2 episodes ago. My mom was really sick, and, you know, I don't usually like to talk about this, but my family sucks completely. Um, I mean, I don't usually like to talk about this on the podcast. Off podcast, I talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, my family sucks. They suck. We were
Yeah.
abandoned. Yeah,
I'm
my
I'm
family.
not gonna lie. From what you told me about your family, like your mum is such a saint. She's so nice, and to
Yeah,
like for that to happen,
yeah.
it's just not cool. Not cool.
Yeah, man. And they just basically they just left my mom and my mom and I at the like the worst moment,
Mm.
the most vulnerable moment of our lives. At the time I don't know, I'm going to get into the personal stuff because why not, I think it's cool to talk about this stuff. I think some people might be going through stuff and would like to hear about this. And maybe a lot of people don't think about other people's lives. They think, for example, someone might look at me and be like, "Oh, this person so lucky to have have found something," and they think maybe I had this incredible support from all my family, and maybe my father is super rich,
Mm.
and I am here because I'm like, no, no, none of that happened. My I but my mom supplemented every single bit
Yeah.
of that support that I missed out on. And you and you are one of the people that has helped me the most. I think after my mom, genuinely, I would give you the credit. You're number two after my mom. I'm not kidding. Uh,
Thanks, dude.
so of course,
To put me
man.
that close to your mum, that is like wow. Oh man,
Yeah,
she's
in
brilliant.
terms of, like, helping me out with my life, and getting me to where I am right now and being so supportive, I think, I'm very grateful for that. And, I'm I'm thankful that I didn't really feel the effects of, uh, you know, not having a family or not having family support. My mom negated a lot of that. My mom took a lot of that and gave so much to me. And at that time, our family just completely left us. Our aunt, my aunt, used to live with us. Like my mom's sister used to live with us. They had an issue. She moved in to my other aunt, my mom's other sister's house, which is literally right in front of our house. They are right in front of our
Mm.
house, and she moved in with them. And they just did not knock on the door. They did not ask how she was. My mom was really sick. She has chronic headaches, and she has like an issue with her neck and stuff like that, nerve issues and stuff like that. That stuff can mess you up. It can mess you up. She had a lot of pressure from work as well, and so all that stuff was coming down on us. And the lockdown was pretty much a blessing, I would say. Even though, of course, I don't want to say to a lot of people it was hurtful, but for us, it was a
Yeah.
blessing because, um, I was doing terribly at school. My mom was very sick, and that's when I discovered voice acting. And you know, now that you mention all the hard work and stuff like that, yeah, I remember. I really don't, recalling those moments of like, working really hard and stuff like that. I just don't understand. Can't recall exactly what made me think I have to order equipment and I have to take this seriously. And I don't know what it was. Like, I genuinely, I don't understand it because it was never instilled in me. No one in my life has done this. Um, yeah, I don't, the topic of, my father, it's not one that I can talk about my family. My father is a very difficult topic. Uh, you know, my father is not a hardworking person,
Mm.
not at all. He is the very opposite of that. I I think he's done more damage than good in my life. So no one in my family was really a positive male figure or a positive, hardworking figure in my life that really taught me how to get a good work ethic or how to um, focus on goals or how to make goals. And none of that, none of that. But my mom is so strong that I took so many traits from her that led me to the path of finding those things within me.
Mm.
And at some point, I was like, I gotta take this is the one thing. Genuinely, voice acting at the time was the only thing that I had never gotten bored of. That didn't wear off because, like you said, you tried what was it? You've done stuff that you felt like were hobbies or like just for fun. I did the same. I tried at some point, I it was a very brief thing. I tried to do coding.
Mm.
I also, I did some content creation. I always created content as a kid till from like 2014 to 2016. I uploaded a few YouTube videos. Among them Minecraft
Oh my god, I
PE
knew you were gonna
TNT.
say it. I knew you were gonna say it. I knew you were gonna bring that up.
Yeah, that story is cursed.
Oh
That's
my
we don't talk about that.
god.
Yeah, bro. I've told my girlfriend that there's a cursed story about Minecraft PE TNT fail, and I was like, "You are not. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna say. Don't talk about it through text. You have to be. You have to be face to
Yeah.
face to understand the true
Oh my
horrors
god.
of Minecraft PE."
That is the
uh,
best thing. Well, not the best thing.
yeah,
It was not the best thing,
yeah,
but
yeah,
let's
yeah.
just give it the
Let's leave it
respect.
there.
Let's just give it the respect it
Yeah,
deserves. We'll leave it there. Minecraft PNT
yeah.
PvP TNT fell.
Yeah,
Wow.
let's not bring the curse onto the audience of the podcast.
No,
They have suffered
they
enough.
have.
Uh, bro, yeah. So I used to make some YouTube content back then. I used to hold up my Nokia and record some stuff, and that's really all I did, and that's the only thing that I knew outside of like school and studying and whatnot. I haven't traveled around much in my life. I've only traveled very locally, in the Middle East or in Iraq in general. So I just never got to see much of life as a kid, and neither did my mom. Honestly, it's almost like me and my mom, like hit a point in our lives. Like basically, you know, my mom was going through a lot of stuff even prior to her getting sick and that whole going down. Her entire life was it was very. She has had a very very difficult life. Um, and despite that, she protected me and she nurtured me and she loved me, like no one else. And uh, what I was getting into was at some point, I gave her something. I gave her something, which was like one day something bad happened and she just moved on. She was like, okay, the usual because she's used to that. Things like terrible things have happened in her life, but she's used to it. And I was like, Mom, I noticed this thing happened. uh, why did you not react? Why did you not do anything about it? And it was like, I swear, I think it was like late at night. The lights were off or something, and maybe the power was off, and we just sat there and we spoke. I still remember this when I was a kid. It was like when I was 14, and we spoke. and I gave her I gave her a perspective on life. I gave her a hope. I gave her something that she, not unknowingly instilled in me. And because I didn't have to turn myself off my entire life like she did because of pressures and everything. A woman in Iraq, in Arab society, very difficult, and without much support from family, incredibly difficult. So her hearing that from me, that changed her perspective completely, and our life started to shift from that point onwards. And I was basically, what was I getting into? I was, talking about like uh, my life in terms of like what inspired me and everything. I wouldn't say I've had me. I didn't have a very difficult life as a kid, not at all. My mom did not allow that to happen to me. But through the last 3 years, it's been a very, very difficult journey because it's basically just me and my mom and very little support from my family. And through that, and through your help, and through having good friends and being surrounded and having a mom that she's very strong, through that, I was able to um, find this thing, which is voice acting, and I was able to continue and keep working on it. And it's so cool that it's something that brought out it brought out a soul that I didn't know that I had
Mm.
until I was 15. It brought something out. And I'm still learning obviously right now. So this year has been crazy. I cuz we moved to an actual house. We lived in rent for like 7 years. And then me and my mom lived in rent for another 3 years. Only me and my mom. She had to Rent was super high, and we lived there for 3 years, just me and her, and we moved into a house finally this year. I also got the Coca-Cola commercial,
Mm.
and I finished high school, and I discovered a passion for music.
Yeah.
I and last year I met my girlfriend. It's just been a crazy. It's like my life really started in I would say like 2022. I like not even 2020 when I started voice acting because I was just ramping up. That was ramping up, and then the start was like 2022. That's when I was like really I started understanding things. The whole Olympics thing gave me a different perspective, and then I actually started making something of myself. I was in a film, in an anime, I was in video games, I was in a commercial. Then all that stuff, all the ball kept rolling, and now, uh, you know, I'm actually responsible for stuff, and I'm responsible for the house, and I'm learning. I'm also, something I remember when I first got the tools to like work on stuff, and like because I had to work on electricity and whatnot in the house, I had to pull sockets and work on wires and stuff. I remember the first thing I did was send the picture of the tools to you.
Yeah.
I was like, "Yo, dude, look at this!" And I was so proud
I
of it.
remember that.
Um, yeah, I was so proud of it. 'Cause that was the fir I didn't think the episode was gonna get this personal, honestly, the questions are
I
very
know.
different from what yeah, um, but it's so cool because, when we started talking about our lives, I didn't realize, I knew that I was gonna ask you some questions that I'd really haven't asked you before, but I didn't think it was gonna get this deep, and I'm so glad that it did
No, I
because
love it.
this is a more interesting episode than what was written because what was written is pretty much service level, and I wanted it to get to something deeper. So this is really interesting and this is really cool. Um, but yeah, when I got my tools, I sent them to you, and I still have them. And now I'm learning to like actually, work with wires and like for example, we needed a different electric socket. We had this the oil heater that we had for oil radiator that we had for the house, and I had to get a different socket. And before I would call an electrician. Now I just get screwdriver, unscrew it, I remove, I know which one's the live and neutral wires, I put it back together, and I'm so proud like that I can do this now without even asking, without even thinking, because a lot of my life, I think and I plan so much before I do
Mm.
anything because I wasn't taught a lot of those things. I wasn't taught how to do, you know, how to work with most of the stuff that I work on right now. So I literally Google that stuff. I research it. I ask people. I have to watch someone do it. I have to do all that stuff until I do it myself. So, I'm finally getting to a point where I feel like, yo, I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm kind of getting into a life groove, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
You
no,
know what I mean?
absolutely.
Yeah. So, it's crazy. Hard work and dedication to something that you love can teach you so much and can get you so far in life. And I don't think, I think people should pay more attention to, um, what makes them happy, what makes them tick.
Absolutely.
I think, there's a lot of people that don't pay enough attention to that type of stuff. The most important thing in life, in my opinion, is to just try out new things. Listen to that genre of music you haven't listened to. That's the base thing. Listen to that genre of music you haven't listened to. Maybe you'll like it so much you'll want to do it. Um, watch watch someone do something. Work on something new in the house. I think that's so important.
Yeah.
People miss that part of life, um, and it's the part that really shows you, oh, this is who I am.
Yeah.
This is actually what I represent. This is what I want to do. I think that's really interesting. So, yeah, I mean, uh, as I said, I've never had a background in art, but I've been getting into it, and I wonder this: did you go through art class? Did art influence your work in any way? I'm really curious about that, actually.
So, I mean, we had art class. Art class
Mhm,
was a lot like DT, design and technology. You sort of go
mhm.
through a lot of different styles. So, for example, like for one term, you'd be doing like clay modeling. Another term, you'd be doing painting. Another one would be like charcoal drawings. So on and so forth. The problem with art class is I never done art as a GCSE, so because that's not mandatory for GCSEs for the last 2 years of my high school career,
Mhm.
it's sort of that's when things start getting serious. And up until then, they're almost, apart from like maths and English and stuff like that, art was seen as a way to sort of get you interested, but it doesn't count for any of your like final grade or anything like that because it's just a way to get
Mm.
you interested in the subject. And then if you wanted to go into art, so for example, they did have a painting class which was very personal actually. Only like 5 or 6 people from my year actually went into painting, and those that
Oh,
did were really really good at it, and they got interested through school teaching them about it, and then so on and so forth. Or if you wanted to do
yeah.
photography, there was a photography class which was a little bit more popular. Actually, quite a few people did photography,
Yeah.
clay, all that sort of stuff. My experience of art in relation to joinery is
Yeah.
actually probably not what you're expecting, because
Mm.
I always had fun in art. Like I was
Yeah.
never good at painting or drawing or modeling, but it was fun.
Mm.
It was a
Yeah.
fun lesson. Apart from when you're like learning about, oh yeah, this is a painting, it's like made by Van Gogh and stuff. I never really got into that, but doing it for myself, I really liked it.
Yeah.
Um, but the problem with art class is no matter what you're pumping out, whether it's the best thing in the world or the most shockingly shit thing ever drawn, the teacher will look at it and go, "That's amazing." Which in one case,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the case with art, is subjective. The problem
Yeah.
is joinery is not the same way,
Mm.
because no matter what anyone tells you, if you've made an ugly looking door, it's an ugly looking door. You can't
Yeah.
be artistic in the way of like abstract. If you've got like an
Yeah.
abstract door and an abstract door frame on the front of an abstract house, that's different. That fits the theme.
Yeah.
But when you've got like a nice modern brick house and you're putting
Yeah.
in a window with like a triangular, no, like a door with a triangular peephole at the front, and then
Okay.
you've got like a weird circle bit in the middle, and then it just goes into lines at the bottom. Like it's not
Yeah.
subjective. It looks bad. so
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I couldn't really take any inspiration from art class in my joinery career. I actually took inspiration from, and I don't get to do a lot of this when I go out, when I do joinery, but going out to people's homes and seeing these like millions of pounds worth of houses and stuff like that, proper big borderline mansions that I'm making
Yeah.
joinery for, and I'm looking what they've already got in, and you can just begin to recognize it. You can look at a door or a window and see the style, and you go like, that doesn't match. And then you look at another one and you go,
Yeah.
that looks brilliant. You know, like you start to recognize what makes it good and what makes it bad. Some of the best doors I've seen, and bearing in
Yeah.
mind I've made doors with like a panel at the top and then a panel in the middle, it then splits off into like 6 panels going down. The nicest doors I've seen is when you've got a bit at the top, two things going down the side, bit at the bottom, and then you've just got slats just going down the door. Nice, plain,
Yeah.
finished wood. Looks so, so nice because people don't
Mm.
have it as much anymore. So
Yeah.
it's like, if you were to get that nice door and then suddenly go, I'm going to cut a rectangle in it going diagonal in the middle. It's
Yeah.
like
You
you
can.
can't. As an art
Yeah.
piece, people put that up in a museum and they look at it and they go, oh yeah, no, this represents how the artist was feeling at the time. If I gave someone a door and I said I was in an abstracty sort of mood today, so I've cut this
It's
triangle.
like yeah.
They'd kill me.
Yeah.
They'd kill me. They'd
Yeah.
sue me. So I can't do that. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's more hands-on seeing for myself experience rather than art experience for me. Um,
Yeah.
it's quite funny considering that I'm in a very like hands-on decor, what's the word? I don't know, like designy sort of job.
Yeah.
I rarely ever think about my time in art. Even
Mm.
even design and technology, I rarely think about my time in that. My whole career was built upon my time in joinery college, carpentry college.
Yeah.
That done wonders for me. That done absolutely wonders for me. But I think like what we were saying, the initial excitement of these things were brought into my life because our school actually did these subjects and
Yeah.
allowed you
Yeah.
to
Yeah. Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
have a hand in making these things. So,
Yeah.
oh man, sorry, I get
Yeah.
worked up when I think about the Iraqi education system. So we'll be
Yeah,
back
man.
on that if I keep going. But
Yeah. Yeah, but so question, this is a weird question, very off the wall.
please,
Um, have you had to deal with termites before?
termites. Not
Yeah?
well, yes and no. I
Yeah.
haven't had to deal with termites in the stuff that I've personally made because
Yeah?
the wood that we get in is treated. So if anything even takes a
Yeah.
little bite out of it, it's dying. It's dead.
Yeah.
It's dead the next day.
Yeah.
It's poisonous, man. You don't want to be licking this. So
Yeah.
that's fine. What I do have to deal with is people will come to me. Customers will walk in, they'll
Yeah.
go like, "Hi, yeah, I'm looking for like the guy in charge," and I'll go like, "It's me. Sup? What's going on?"
Yeah.
And they'll hand me this rotten chunk of wood that's got like absolutely no like similarities to what it looked like before, and they'll say like, "Yeah, I need like this, but brand new, and I need like 17 meters of it." And I'm like looking at this rotten chunk, and I'm like, "Dude, just come up with a new pattern or something. Just give me something
Yeah.
new. This looks awful." I mean, I get it out for them at the end of the day, but termites are bad when you've got to copy something how it was before, and that thing is half
Yeah.
chewed by little woodworms. Oh my god, it's a nightmare.
Bro, I don't know, here in the house, basically, we basically bought this house from a dude. He makes a lot of houses in the neighborhood, and he owns a lot of them. He's a gold guy. He sells gold and whatnot. He's
Mm,
a pretty rich guy. So he kind of like throws houses together a little bit. He doesn't really put as much care into them. So number one, there's a lot of issues with the house. Literally, the bedroom door
mhm.
is the bedroom door frame is crooked. You know, it's not like this. It's like this.
Oh,
I don't know how they fucked that up. I don't know
okay.
how. Yeah,
Right.
and there are termites in the walls, like
Okay.
in the walls. So the way I'm battling them is just this silicone gun. Like they just pop out of the wall, and I'm like, choop,
It'll
put a little
work.
silicone in
It'll
it.
work. It'll stop them from
Yeah,
coming
but
through.
it fucks up the wall. The wall looks
Yeah.
like shit.
The
Yeah,
problem is with termites is you need to kill them, otherwise they keep coming back.
yeah,
That's when like you get like house fumigators and stuff like that, where like they
yeah.
go on.
I told my mom. She's like, no. Well, I don't know why. She's like, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I don't trust
Yeah.
them.
I mean, there might be um if you like look online or something, they might even have it down at like a department
Yeah,
store. Maybe there's some sort of like you know you get like rat poison where you
oh
get
yeah.
like rats around, you just sprinkle a bit under like the sofa, and then you're just like, yeah, they'll just die, and then they'll go off to their home, and then just
Well,
stop
I
coming
mean,
back.
they're kind of everywhere. That's the problem. But like, I don't think there's an actual product. I've searched this because I've researched it. I was like, okay, if you don't trust those people. All right, I'll Google it. I'll see on YouTube. Maybe there's a thing. No, there's nothing. You have to get a few,
Ah,
like as
man,
you said, fumigators.
you'd expect that to be a
Yeah,
product now in like
yeah,
2023 going on 2024. You'd expect there to be a product that you can just buy, and that's that,
yeah.
you know? Ah, that sucks.
But the thing is, they're really like persistent, and they're still like they're close to the door. The door is the wood on the door is very low quality. It is terrible, and so it's not treated. And so I like there's a fear in me that as soon as you remove the door frame, it is just a bunch of termites, like just like yeah, like that,
Ah,
like on the hole in the wall. I think that's really how it's gonna be if we ever were to do that. So I don't know. My mom doesn't trust them. They haven't come back in a while. You know, my little trick of just like sticking the silicone gun on the wall and then like pressing it as hard as I can to maybe fill up the holes in the wall that they
yeah.
make. That's the only thing that I have. That's my only hope. And the wall looks terrible. It is just filled with like a bunch of like this silicone on the walls. It's like this. It's bad. It's terrible. But
It's
yeah,
not good. I
uh,
mean, it'll work temporarily, but I mean,
yeah,
you might just have to be a fumigator, dude. If your mum
yeah.
doesn't
I'm gonna
trust
do
him, you
that.
might just have to
Yeah,
put all your valuables in a suitcase and then just go to a
yeah,
hotel for like a week until
yeah,
they are done. You know?
yeah.
I
I mean,
I
that's
can't
the
say.
thing.
I can't say.
Yeah, man. That's why I wanted to ask you. Maybe I thought you knew something about them that I didn't. But
No.
you're not a termite expert. You're not a
No.
termite expert.
We
Yeah,
work in prevention from the start, not getting rid of them later.
yeah,
That's the problem. Which
yeah. In Iraq,
sucks.
no.
No.
In Iraq, you don't do that. You don't do that, buddy. Nope. You do something terribly, and then you suffer the consequences.
Shame.
That's how we do it.
Actual shame.
Yeah, man.
Oh man.
So, yeah. I wonder also. Um, did did your very little time in engineering and stuff like
Mhm.
that at school and at college, did that at all influence your love for computers and building computers and stuff like that?
Ooh. You know, I don't
Yeah.
think it did, but not
Mm.
not because it had nothing. Not because like it was like a big disconnect or anything like that, but because something had already inspired it before that. Um,
Mm.
it was actually probably Minecraft that got me into computers.
Oh. Yeah.
It was so I'm a well, I was a console player and
Yeah.
I loved Minecraft, loved it to death.
Hmm.
I was a Minecraft kid, but back when it was cool to be a Minecraft kid because everyone was a Minecraft kid.
Yeah.
And um I remember getting Minecraft for the first time on my Xbox. I can remember loading it up. We didn't have creative yet. That was an update. We didn't have like flat
Yeah.
world. We just had survival, and that was it. We had the original Minecraft
Yeah.
music. We didn't even have the Nether for a short period of time. It was bare
Mm.
bones, and I
Wait,
can
are you saying which device is it on?
Xbox. It was.
Oh, on the phones, I used to have it on my phone, and we didn't have like we had like there were nether reactor cores and everything. It was a weird type of time when they were being ported from PC to
Yeah,
consoles and stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah. So they had to
yeah,
like change a few things around. But I can
yeah,
always remember like looking at these videos of people online that were playing with mods and stuff, and me being young. I mean, I got Minecraft when I was maybe like 9 or 10. I was very, very young,
yeah,
and being stupid and not like tech savvy as I was. I mean, I was tech savvy with the
yeah,
stuff I knew how to do, but with PCs, I didn't have a clue. When I saw these mods, I thought you could get them on
yeah,
Xbox. So I was looking
yeah.
at
I
like
know.
all these videos online of just like, oh yeah, no, you just get this and then you do that. They weren't real. They were
Yeah,
just clickbait. But me being just this dumb kid wanting to get like Minecraft gun mod, was like, yeah, I'll
yeah,
I'll I'll do this and yeah, it'll happen. It never worked out.
yeah,
But then I started doing
yeah,
research and I was like, oh, these people are playing on computers, and I was like, oh, I've got a laptop. I'll use my laptop. Not good. Not good, not good, not good.
yeah,
I still have the laptop. It's in my cupboard.
yeah,
Bad. Bad, bad, bad. It had
yeah.
like 2 gigs of RAM. It had like an
Oh,
Intel not very good. I don't even know what it was. Didn't run at
yeah.
all.
Pentium.
Probably even worse than that, dude. Honestly.
Oh
This is
my
like a
god.
2008 Toshiba laptop. Not good. Not good,
Oh,
not good, not good.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
tried running it. It wouldn't run. I actually
Hmm.
bought Minecraft, downloaded Minecraft, only for it to not run at all.
Yeah,
Um, and then that's when I was like, oh, right. So like PCs and laptops are like 2 different things. And then I started like asking my dad. I was like, oh, can we get a PC? And he's like, oh, I have one. It's in the garage. I'll get it for you. So he went in and he got it. His own personal. He made this PC in 1998.
oh my
But
god.
for
It's even worse.
1998,
Yeah,
it was state of the art. It didn't run as fast as the laptop, but it still
yeah,
had like Windows, like Vista or XP, or was it even Windows 98? I
yeah,
can't remember. But it ran what it had on it so well. The moment I tried to upgrade
yeah,
anything, like get some like new software on there, no, didn't like it. Didn't have it at all.
yeah.
But and you might be able to figure out the connection I'm making here.
Mm,
Down the front of this case, he had 2
yeah.
glass rods, and in these glass rods were like little air bubbles that had been like when it was being made were like pushed in. It's
Mm.
almost looked like a lava lamp, but like it obviously didn't
Oh
move. It
yeah,
was
yeah,
just
yeah.
solid glass, and it had LEDs at the top and bottom of each rod that shone
Yeah.
different colors down this rod of glass, which
Oh.
then became my love for RGB. That's why I go so over the top with
Oh.
it and have like half my house's power bill go to lighting up this machine. It's because these glass
Yeah.
rods at this computer that my dad made. I loved it. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So that was in my head. I was like, I need to build my own PC. I need to have lights in it. It needs to light up. That was it. When I first got my PC, I said to the dude, I was like, I don't care what you put in it. I need it to run these games, and I need it to light up.
Yeah.
Like that's it. I need it to
Yeah.
light up all the colors, everything. And he did
Yeah.
it for me, and it was brilliant. But yeah, but engineering,
Man.
it was
Yeah.
it was it was more CAD, which stands for computer aided design. So it was stuff like
Yeah. Like 3D software
yeah,
type
yeah,
stuff and like
exactly. 3D
yeah.
software. Some 2D as well. Making like plans.
Yeah.
And then we print these things off. We'd go into like the machine
Mm.
shop. We'd machine out a few things, and then the aim was to like machine out these bits of metal and then put it on top of this like sheet of paper that we printed off, and it should line up
Yeah.
exactly with what you've got like designed onto this piece of
Yeah. With the
paper.
measurements and
Yeah.
everything.
You know exactly
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it didn't necessarily inspire my PC love too much.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's so interesting though. The fact that, that's really what got you into PCs is first of all Minecraft. I think that's the same for me. Honestly, I think I remember this is a core memory in my brain. This is the first betrayal. You know, those people, you know, that did like that did, you know, the glowstone portal, you know, that was
Oh
pain. That
my
was painful.
god!
But that's not me. But that's not me. Cuz the glowstone portal, okay, that was simple,
Uh-huh.
all right? And I hadn't discovered that. My glowstone portal moment was playing Minecraft on the phone.
Uh-huh.
I used to watch this Arabic YouTuber. His name was the Homie Thalath Tis'at, which is like the Homie 3 9s, whatever. It's like it's a weird name, but I used to watch him, and he had this modded Minecraft series, and I completely thought, I was like, oh yeah, Minecraft you can do all this stuff in Minecraft? What
Yeah,
the
dude.
freak? And there's one episode I still love it to this day from the series. There's this mod called Twilight in Minecraft,
Mhm.
the Twilight Forest, and it's basically another dimension like the Nether. But basically, what you had to do is you had to make a 2x2 water square and throw a diamond into it,
Oh, I
and
think I
that's how he did it
remember
in the video.
this. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. This mod is really cool. It was so awesome. I still love it. It still holds a special place in my heart. I still love that video so much. He goes to the Twilight Forest. He like sees penguins, bro. The childlike wonder of that for me. I was like, oh, I can do this in Minecraft. And I was like, I gotta try this. I gotta try. How do I find diamonds? I didn't even know how
Oh
to find diamonds. I downloaded it on my
no.
phone, and I was like, oh, diamonds. I was like, this is surely going to work. This is surely going to work. I had like a little home in the mountains on my terrible Samsung Galaxy S3, and I had a little home on the mountains of the game in the game, and I dug a 2x2 hole, and I was like, "This is the moment. This is the moment." I put the flowers around the hole for it to happen. Could barely find the flowers because the worlds weren't infinite, and weren't infinite in Minecraft on the phone. They were like small worlds. So I was like, "I'm gonna throw this diamond." I throw the diamond, and nothing happens. And nothing happens.
Oh
And I was like,
no.
no. I was like so confused. I was so confused. I was like, what? Excuse me? Why didn't this work? And I think I started Googling it, and I didn't understand for a long time until I understood, like, oh, this is on the computer. And I was like, oh, okay. And for the longest time, since I was like maybe, this is since like 2014 up until 2016, I wanted a computer so bad. I wanted to build a computer as well. I wanted to I like literally have builds on PC Part Picker. I
Mm.
think they're still there. I picked out the parts, and I was like, I want to buy this. And in Iraq, I didn't realize how expensive those were in Iraq. And so the first thing I did was I bought a laptop that I thought was a gaming laptop, but I didn't. I was a kid, and I didn't read the specifications. I didn't know what the specifications were. I just There was a YouTube video that was like, "Oh, top 5 gaming laptops of all time," and it was like it was like an Acer Aspire E5, and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna tell the store guy, I'm just gonna find the Acer Aspire E5, and I'm gonna buy that. But the thing is, when you, it's Acer Aspire E5 dash 3 other numbers and then a letter. And there was so many models of this laptop, and I bought like one of the worst ones. It wasn't even for gaming. It was 4 gigabytes of RAM. It was like an Intel i3. Um, it was terrible, and it could barely run those video games. But I could play Skyrim on it. I could play Minecraft. This is 2016. It was magical. I was like, yo, I can finally download these mods and kind of play Minecraft. It was terrible FPS. It was very bad visuals, but I could play those games, and I was like, it was so exciting.
Yeah.
And in again in like 20 when was this? Wow, I actually don't remember. Maybe 2019. I think 2019. I went to a place where they sell those parts, and the parts were so expensive, and I couldn't find the ones that I was looking for. And my cousin was like, "Just buy a laptop. Just buy a laptop, man. Don't just spare yourself the trouble." And he's the only good cousin in my family, by the way. Good, quote unquote. He's still,
Good.
but yeah, he's the only one that really accompanied me and like actually tried to help me with some stuff. And he took me there, and he, gave me some advice, and to the place with the PC parts and everything. And I'm glad that he told me that. I'm really glad that he told me just to buy a laptop, because I wouldn't have been able to run the PC anyway. I wouldn't have had space. Our apartment was very small. all that stuff, wires, all that stuff to deal with. Always, I wouldn't have been able to record voiceovers because I wouldn't be able to move the PC.
Mm.
So it's just, yeah, it was, I think that was, one of the best pieces of advice anyone has given me. The ripple effects of that are actually crazy. So yeah, I never got to fulfill my dream of actually building a PC. Like for years, I used to watch videos and I'm like, yo, I know I like right now, I think if you gave me a PC, I would know how to build it. Even though like the last video I watched was like a year, 2 years, 3 years ago, I would still know how to build a PC because of how many times I rewatched those videos to like get it right and not to mess up anything. And yeah, I never really got to do it. And I'm at a point where I'm like, I don't really want a PC, even though my Steam library is huge. Like I have a really big Steam library. I have a lot of games. But I would prefer getting a PS5 now,
Yeah,
over a PC.
yeah.
Yeah, it's just more convenient.
That's the thing now, is you can do more with a PC. I will always stand by and say that PC is better because you can
Yeah,
download loads of software for loads of different tasks. You can run a business, you can play games, you can chat with your friends,
yeah.
all in one thing. Browse the internet. It isn't just like a one task machine. You can do everything.
It's everything. Yeah,
But when you're spending, like for me, my PC when I bought it, and I built it and everything, I think overall it was about £3,500. When you're
wow.
spending
Yeah,
£3,500 to run games that obviously a console won't run them as well as what this can, but when you're thinking that
yeah,
a PS5 is going for like £450, maybe even cheaper if you get it like second hand and the guy's feeling
yeah,
nice and like that day, you can get it for like 350, maybe 300 if you're lucky.
yeah.
Why not do that at that point? It's
Exactly.
like, what do you want to have? Do you want to have 10 pre-owned PS5s or one PC? It's like, I'll just have the
Uh,
one PS5,
Yeah,
please. Thank you very much.
but I think as well, I think you have to consider also that I think games are generally cheaper on PC. Like Steam has a lot of sales.
Yeah.
Like genuinely,
Yeah.
I haven't seen as many sales on the PlayStation Store as I have seen on Steam
Well,
at
that's the
all.
thing is
Yeah,
console
long-term cost.
console companies actually make a loss on their consoles. They they
Yeah,
they sell
yeah, yeah.
them for either little to no profit, but then they make their money back by you purchasing games on their stores because they
Not
purchase the
just that.
license and then they just redistribute it. You know?
It's also the online
Oh
subscription.
my
You can't
God,
play game.
that
That is the
annoys me. That
worst.
annoys me. You should not have to pay to connect your console to the internet and play with other people.
Yeah,
Like you can do that by default on a laptop, a
yeah.
PC. It's just
A
something you do. A
phone.
phone, exactly. You don't have to pay for a
Yeah,
service online. It's like, what is wrong with
it's
you?
crazy. Yeah.
Oh,
Um, that's the thing. That's the thing with consoles. That's the long-term cost. If you really want to play online, if I were to buy a PS5, it wouldn't be to play
I wouldn't
online.
blame you.
Ever. I wouldn't even consider that. Like that's the thing. The only reason I buy a PS5 is to play the new single player games, and especially a PS5 because number one, the big draw for console owners here in Iraq specifically. I don't know if it's in other Eastern countries as well, but it's the market of like actual physical discs. You go to a store and you trade it in, and it's very cheap. And people like, for example, sell um, discs for like $5 or something. If like a game is like a few months old, it depreciates super fast because everyone bought it at base price and they just want to sell it, get rid of it. And you can trade stuff in, you can trade stuff back, and I think that's cool. I think that's a really cool thing. But we're also moving away from that. Again, we're moving away from that even here in Iraq. So the draw isn't as big anymore. And the biggest draw for me for PlayStation consoles specifically is the exclusives. That's really the
Yeah.
only reason I would buy a PS5 legitimately, like because like God of War,
Oh my
Spider-Man,
God, yeah.
The Last of Us, Uncharted. Like I mean, The Last of Us and Uncharted actually, and Spider-Man Miles Morales and God of War are on Steam now actually. But if we're talking about God of War Ragnarok, Last of Us 2, Uncharted 4, I think is not on the
Yeah.
Steam. No, I think Uncharted
It
4
might
is
be
on
Uncharted
Steam. No,
5, maybe? Is there a fifth one?
I don't think there's. No, there's no fifth one. But The Last of Us 2. I think you're thinking of The Last of Us
I
2.
must be.
That might.
Yeah, I must
Yeah,
be.
The Last of Us 2 isn't on Steam. And it's just to play those new games and also to play any game for the next 7 years without having to worry about, like, of course, if you buy a top of the line PC now, you will be future proofed for like a decade because, like, how demanding, like, I think a GTX 1080 would be able to
Oh
run
yeah.
Cyberpunk and
A,
those
a,
other
a
games.
1080. I mean, like, you're not going to be playing it on like super high graphics, but I mean, like, let's be
Yeah,
real. With some of these games, they're so badly optimized that even the latest graphics cards can't run them on the highest things.
true.
If you run it like you aim for like 30 frames per second, run it on like medium to low or something like that, you can get cards going back to like a 1660. In fact, a
Yeah,
1060,
yeah, yeah.
1660 and a 1060 are actually very decent cards to this day. Some
True. That's true.
people have come up to me and they're like, "Oh, I'm looking for a good upgrade. What should I get?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, what have you got?" Just like as a little bit of friendly advice. Um, I'm not saying I build PCs for a living or anything. I'm not getting
Yeah,
Linus Tech Tics over here. But just when I'm talking to
yeah,
friends and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm thinking of upgrading," I've got a 1660, and I'm like, "Why? Like, like
yeah,
it's good. You're going to spend all this money." And the thing is when you go to upgrade your graphics card, if you've got a PC back in the days of when you've had a 1660, you're not going to want to just upgrade the graphics card. You also want to get the most out of your graphics card, so you're going to upgrade the motherboard. But then when you upgrade the motherboard, you want the
yeah,
CPU that can run it, so you're going to upgrade the CPU. Then you're going to upgrade the
yeah.
RAM to keep up with it all. And by that time, you might as well just get a new PC. It's like,
It's just a bottleneck after bottleneck at that
absolutely.
point.
Oh my God, I hate the word
Yeah.
bottleneck. That's the one thing I was worried about when I was building mine.
Painful. That word is
Yeah.
definitely painful,
Oh my
man.
God.
Yeah, bro.
Oh,
Like, no, but like that's the thing. With the PCs, a lot of people think they're like more expensive or whatever, but like as I said, if you factor in all that stuff that comes with a console, the expensive games, the online subscription, having, for example, like controllers, there's a lot of controllers with a lot of
yeah.
issues. Like especially first gen controllers are always faulty for some reason. Like when the DualSense came out, stick drift, the Nintendo Switch, stick drift is the worst thing to happen to humanity
Absolutely.
at this point.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah,
But I
man.
think I think the one thing
Yeah,
that PC had going for it that was actually taken away from it, it was snatched away violently,
yeah.
was it had VR going for it. It was
Oh
you
yeah,
want VR, you get a PC, you plug it in, you could walk around the room with these wires trailing behind you.
yeah,
What happened? Quest. Quest came out. Don't need a PC.
yeah,
What happened?
yeah,
PS4 VR, PS4 VR Mark II,
yeah.
PS5 VR. I don't know if that's out yet or not, but
No, it's PSVR 2 is
there we go.
out.
It's
Yeah.
like you don't need a PC for these things anymore. You know.
Yeah.
Um, I think a lot of the reason that PC players are sticking around is one because the conveniences of having a PC once you've got it are very hard to let go, very hard to let
Yeah.
go. But also it's actually quite a fun hobby. It is quite a fun hobby,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've had thoughts of like going down to like just like a so we've got a shop here, okay? It's called
Yeah.
CEX, Sex,
Oh
okay?
yeah. Oh yeah. Sex
You
shop.
you
Let's
say, "Oh, I'm gonna
go.
go into the
Yeah.
sex shop," and everyone's like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And then you're like, "No, no, 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 no! I want like a new phone." It's crazy.
Yeah. And you phone at the sex shop. What kind of toys are they selling there, huh? Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But yeah, they
Yeah.
sell like sticks of RAM. They sell graphics cards. They sell CPUs.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily sell like motherboards or PC cases or like fans or anything like that. You'd have to get them somewhere else. But I
Yeah.
keep thinking like I want to go and just like cheaply build just a low end PC just for the sake of building it, and then just like sell it
Yeah.
off and just or like one of like my mates in real life that doesn't have a PC yet, just like sell it off for like just maybe like to get my money back or something like that, and then
Yeah.
just it's fun. It's really fun to put them together.
Yeah, I know, but I've thought about that so many times. I'm just the thought of like being able to just get the parts and get a case and just put it all
Yeah,
together and then like seeing how it runs and seeing what it
yeah.
runs. That's so
But
fun.
it's also the designing of it. Because my last PC,
Yeah.
if you remember that one, it was fully black. It had RGB
Oh yeah.
everything. Black graphics card, black RAM. No, actually, no. The RAM was uncolored. The RAM was this cheap ass RAM, that was just literally
Yeah.
the stick with no casing. A cheap black CPU cooler. Uh, Black everything. The problem I found is that the
Yeah.
RGB does not bounce well off of black material.
Mm.
So for the second one, I was like, right, I want to go for like a white look. So I went
Yeah.
for a white and grey case with lots of glass. It's got glass on the front, the back, on top, the side,
Mm.
to see everything. White to bounce the color off of it. I've got a white power supply that you can barely see, but I wanted to be sure. So you can just about see it through the fan grate at the bottom.
Ooh.
I've got white sticks of RAM, black motherboard, but it has streaks of silver on it, so I say that counts. White
Yeah.
white
Yeah.
fans, a white CPU cooler, and then the shining crown, which I shouldn't have bought, but I'm so glad I did. The RTX 3090 Founders Edition, which comes in this
Oh
beautiful
man.
silvery grey case with these lovely vents around it, and you know,
Yeah.
it's nice to
Sweet.
build. It's nice to build, and I'm
Yeah.
I'm very very thankful that I can build one myself and actually have it
Yeah.
run. It didn't run
Yeah.
for the first day. Oh my
Ah, shit.
god,
Wait, didn't you tell me about that? That it like you put it together and it didn't like
nothing.
just something was wrong and you had to replace something,
Kind
right?
of. I didn't have to like
Yeah.
replace it as in get a new part. For some reason, it just the CPU wasn't seated properly. So I put everything together. I turned the power on at the back, and all of the RGB on the motherboard lit up because that's just got passive lighting. So that's on even when the
Yeah.
PC's completely shut off. So it all lit up, and I was like, yes, it's got power, brilliant, wonderful, everything is plugged into the board correctly, fantastic.
Yeah.
Press the on button, nothing. I was like, okay, I was expecting this. It's probably just like the connectors to the motherboard at the bottom aren't connected to the case, whatever. Swapped them round, and I was there for about 5 hours. No joke, 5 hours, checking every single little thing, except for
Yeah.
taking the CPU out and put it back on again. And I was there for 2 days trying to figure out this problem. Before my dad said, like, what if it's a CPU? And I was like, what do you mean, what if it's a CPU? And he's just like, well, try taking it out and put it back in again. I was like, what do you mean? It goes in one way. It's in. It's like, how could this not
Yeah.
work? So anyway, I got so frustrated with it. Took the screws to the CPU cooler out, took it off, looked at the CPU, took out the CPU, checked all the pins, and was like, yeah, it's here. Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah.
Put it back in,
Yeah.
slapped it back on, put everything back together, pressed the on button, and it all just lit up. And I was like, what
Oh
is
my
happening? What is happening that made that happen? I have absolutely no idea to this day. But
That is
it
so
was
silly.
working, and I was fine.
Yeah.
But oh my god, yeah, it's such a
Yeah,
headache.
man.
Such a headache. Wonderful to do, such a headache.
Yeah.
When
Yeah, I
when
know.
you do it, or if
It's
you do it,
scary when you're turning on the first
oh
time.
my god, just be prepared. Be prepared.
Yeah.
Computers, I've heard that computers turn on the first time about 10% of the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
There's always some connector, there's
Always.
always some issue. Yeah,
But
man. And that's the thing. And also
I'm there, so it's fine.
I think it's really good to have an up-to-date graphics card like the RTX 3090. But me personally, my laptop, my little laptop that I bought in 2019, bro, it has a GT 1030 and 8 gigs of RAM and somehow a dual core i5.
Ooh.
Dual core. Now, when I bought it, I thought it was like an 8th gen that was quad core. No, it is dual core. And so, imagine my disappointment when I found that out like a month or two after buying it. I was like, "What? Hello? What? It's dual core? I thought I was buying something better than my i3."
Yeah.
But it turns out no. Yeah, but I have a GT 1030. That I finished God of War on that laptop. God
You
of
gotta give it
War.
props.
Yeah, I bought God of War and I finished it on this little GT 1030, and then also I downloaded Spider-Man
Mm.
2018 on it. Spider-Man Remastered. It runs. I could play the fucking game. I can play the game. It's crazy. Great. I think people like underestimate the power of like even low power GPUs. And yeah, it's just really PCs are actually very good and long lasting. And a lot of people's argument is like, oh, you have to upgrade, you have to upgrade. No, it's
You
not
don't
like
have
that.
to.
No, no.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
The PC that I bought back in 2019, 20,
Yeah.
2019 or 2020. I think it was 2019.
Hmm.
Like again, it was £1,000, which actually I mean for a PC, good. For a gaming PC, it's a little bit on the lower end. For like if you wanted to run
Yeah.
things at the time the rate that I wanted to run them at like
Ray
high
tracing
high
and
t
ray tracing as well.
ray tracing,
Yeah.
2K, not 4K, that's a little bit over the top, but 2K, that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. It's actually on the lower end, but that PC to this day could still run things no problem. I only
Yeah.
upgraded because I have this constant need to think I have a really really good PC, which I do now. I'm
Yeah.
very very happy with this one.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you don't need to upgrade like what we were saying like earlier, like the 1060s, the 1030s. Like you might struggle
Yeah.
here or there, but it's
Yeah.
doable. It's not like you have to. It's not like you'll load up a game and it will say, no, bad graphics card, buy. It will just struggle
Yeah.
to run, but you can still run it. You have the freedom to run it.
I genuinely, I don't know how, but like this little laptop is a trooper. This GT 1030 has suffered. It has suffered. It's gone through pain, dude. I played Ark Survival Evolved at like
No.
60% resolution
Dude,
at
I
like
couldn't do that
20
on
FPS.
this. Oh my
Yeah.
god. That
I don't know
poor
how it
graphics
did it.
card with flames shooting out the
Bro,
HDMI port. Oh my god.
God of War used to run on like the lowest settings and it used to be AI upscaled, like on the settings, like how like that thing with the AMD has a certain technology,
Oh,
Intel,
AMD, is it
Nvidia has.
Fidelity?
I think if FXAA, no, that's not it. It's Fidelity. Yeah, I think it's Fidelity something.
Yeah, like an AI
Totally
upscaler.
forgot. Yeah, and it was like literally, I think the game it used to run at like 480p, and it used to get upscaled to like it used to try getting upscaled to like 720p or like a 1080p. And I finished God of War on that, and Spider-Man, I played through like half of it so far, and it's like it's also on the lowest settings, but it actually looks better than God of War. And somehow it works. Whole city, free roam, fighting, all that stuff. It works
Good.
beautifully somehow.
Yeah, well, at least
Yeah,
you, at least
man.
you can do it. Absolutely. I
Yeah.
can't I can't believe that 1030 is still going. I can remember when you told me that you had a 1030 in your laptop, and I remember thinking like I didn't know it got that low. Like I
Yeah.
didn't realize they existed until my sister bought a PC,
Yeah.
and I said to my family loads of times because they were buying it for her as like a Christmas present slash birthday present because it was sort of a big present. So they
Yeah.
sort of gave it to her at Christmas, but they said like you're getting like not a lot for your birthday if you want this. And which she was fine with. She was like, yeah,
Yeah.
no problem at all. They must have went onto Amazon and typed in gaming PC and bought the
Oh
first
god.
one that they found. Because I remember
Yeah.
looking at the specs and I said, please don't get this. We'll have to upgrade it. And they still bought it and then were complaining when it didn't connect to Wi-Fi because the people didn't ship it with a Wi-Fi card to cut down on price. And I was like, this is what happens when you don't listen to me about these
Oh my
things. So I had to
god.
buy a Wi-Fi
Yeah.
card. The thing is, Windows wasn't installed. You had to, I mean, like, it was activated, but you had to like install it. You had to connect to the Wi-Fi in your home and then install
Oh my.
Windows. It didn't come with a
Yeah.
Wi-Fi card, so it was either Ethernet, which we didn't have. We didn't have Ethernet at the house, unless you're like right next to the router, which we weren't. Um,
Yeah.
or buy a Wi-Fi card and put it in. So I had to buy a Wi-Fi card, wait a day, put it in, connect the PC to everything, only to figure out that it had, I don't even know what the CPU was. I think it was an AMD Athlon
Oh my
5. It was
God. That is a
not good. It
crime.
was not good, and a 1030. Actual physical graphics card,
Oh.
but a 1030.
Yeah.
And I literally like was setting up this PC with like my head like in my hand, like trying not to look physically sick for her, thinking like, let me just give her some sort of hope. And the thing is she didn't want it for gaming. She wanted it for like drawing and stuff. Because my sister is,
Oh yeah.
if you want to talk to someone about art, she's doing an art degree in college. So like
Oh.
she's fully into
Yeah.
art and stuff like that. So she had a
Yeah.
touchscreen tablet that needed this PC, which is like I think that's why she wanted to get into it, because she was running it on a laptop, which wasn't cutting it. Bought this
Yeah.
PC to then put it into the tablet, and then she was drawing on this tablet, and it was not running at all. It was
What?
even like lower end laptops can use Photoshop. They might be slow, but it can use Photoshop. So I paid for Photoshop legally,
Yeah.
and was
Yeah. Of course we all do.
was using legal Photoshop that I
Yeah.
paid
Legal,
for,
definitely. Yeah.
and
I also do that.
so
I also do that.
I was using Photoshop, and
Yeah.
it was, how do I explain this? It was like you put the pen on the page, and you draw to the side, and then when you're like halfway through the line, it would then start juddering from where you started.
Oh my
But it would
God.
almost like, think of it as though it would like read where the pen is, like almost like frames per second. Like it would read where it is on the screen like 60 times every second, so it could trace the line.
Yeah.
It was almost like it was reading where the pen was on the screen like twice a second. So it was like it would start in one place, and then like even if you did like a curve, it would like wait until you're like halfway around the curve, find out where the pen was, and then just draw like a straight line. Rather than the curve, it would just
Oh
go from
my.
like one
Oh
point to
yeah.
another.
I know. I know. I think that's happened to me before. And it just like instead of like finishing it, instead of like finishing the thing, it looks at your pen. It's like, oh, of course, you drew a straight line.
Yeah.
You couldn't have
You
gone
were
any
there and then
direction.
there. There was nowhere else you were. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do what you want. Boom, line, cross the whole
Yeah.
thing, ruined. Yeah,
Man.
it was not good.
Yeah. So how much was that PC?
I dread to even think. It was probably
Oh
something
God.
like £400.
Oh,
It
you
was
could have
not good.
gotten.
But
Dude,
what I
what
did.
year was that?
Oh, what year was that? 2021?
Are you kidding me, bro? You could have
Yeah,
gotten something so
I
good.
know. But what did I do when
Ah,
I built this one?
yeah,
All the parts. I what did I do? I sold a few of the parts, and I took a few of the
yeah,
parts out of her PC. Because what I did is I actually upgraded it. I upgraded her PC. So like the cooler that was on it, she had two fans in the whole PC. It was a
yeah.
micro ATX, which meant that it was a motherboard about the size of like the palm of your hand. Okay,
Oh
had all
yeah,
of the stuff on it. Um, and it had one tiny little like cheap fan like that was just directly on
yeah,
top of like this really thin radio that was directly on top of a CPU. That was a CPU cooler, and it had one 120 millimeter fan, so like normal size fan, on the
yeah,
back plate, and then nothing else. So this thing was having no air draw whatever.
yeah,
So what I done is I replaced the CPU cooler to an actual decent one. I think it was actually better than the one I had on my PC at the time. And then I put in 3 fans at the front, and then turned the other fan around. So instead of an intake fan, it was taking all the air that the 3 fans at the front were pumping in and taking it out. And it was
yeah,
actually a pretty good setup. So I took like some of those stuff that I had replaced and then put it into mild case with a 2080, which is a
mm.
hell of an upgrade from a 1030.
Yeah, yeah,
With mild CPU and mild RAM, I think, as well. And now she's got an actual pretty decent machine that runs everything she wants to run. So yeah. But I think that's how I realized that I wanted to do like PC building more as a hobby.
Yeah.
Was from like taking this PC and upgrading it and then replacing a few things. It was actually very, very fun. It was almost like building a Lego set,
Yeah.
but for adults, it was
Oh yeah, I've
good.
heard that a lot actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that the fact that building a PC, it's just like
Ugh.
Legos. It's pretty much putting that connector there. That's where it fits. That's where you screw it
No,
in. That's
absolutely. It was brilliant.
yeah,
No, I really, really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed it.
man. That is so cool. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever build a PC myself. Uh, I have. So for me, I mean, I don't know. I wanted to talk about this. Oh, sorry. I wanted to talk about this earlier in the podcast, but we got so into it.
We did get
All
very
the
into it, yeah.
yeah, the really cool stuff. I think this is like one of the coolest episodes ever in the podcast because it just offers a much more unique perspective. It's not just like surface level art stuff or like what we're talking about. A lot of our personal journeys more. Um, I don't know how to explain this. So for me, the last 2 weeks um, have been crazy. Have been absolutely like exhausting. Just so much work. Basically, we woke up. Me and my mom were supposed to go out. We have like a lot of work to do, and just places to go to, basically. And we were supposed to wake up early in the morning and get ready and get dressed. And this was 2 weeks ago. This was Monday, 2 weeks ago. And I wake up and my mom's like, "There's the house is flooded," and I'm like, "What?"
Oh yeah.
And I pull up my covers because I sleep on the couch. I don't have my own room, by the way. I sleep in the living room, and so I pull up my covers down, like because my covers like fall off from the couch a little bit. So I
Mm.
I pull it up and it's like dripping from water, like water was dripping from it, and I'm like, "What? What the fuck?" And so I put my foot down. So I wear them and like it splashes. The water splashes on me, and I'm like, "What? What the fuck? What?" It literally felt like a dream. It was so weird. It was in the middle of the night. It was super dark, and the house. Basically, what happened was there's a blockage in the sewer system
Mm.
inside the house, and the water like flooded up from the what was it? The basically the sink,
Mm.
the bathroom sink. It flooded up from it, and it flooded the entire house. And
Jesus.
yeah,
How deep was the water, roughly?
thankfully, it was like it was barely. At least most of the house was clear, but the
Okay.
thing is, the water all flooded to the living room because that was like
Ah.
the house is like slanted to that extent, so it flooded to the living room. And so in the living room, the water was the highest, and it was about like it was literally just not even it couldn't even go up cover your foot. It couldn't cover your foot, but it could almost cover your foot in the living room.
That's pretty deep as far as house floodings go, actually.
Yeah. So, but that was only the living room. The rest was just wet. It was just very wet.
Mm.
So it was dirty water. It was not from like it wasn't from rain. It was actually like flooded up from the sink.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
good.
So it was dirty water, and we were supposed to go out that day. And I thought we were gonna still go out, like we were still gonna go. She's like, Mom was like, "No, look at the house. What are you?" And so basically, I got to work that day. I every single carpet in the house, I packed it up, put it outside, and every single one. We woke up 5 a.m. By 9 a.m. I was done. I was completely done.
Wow.
The house was clear, and I got a guy that cleans like that works with sewage and everything like that and pipes and stuff like that. Clean it out, and that was it. That was done. Showered, went to sleep, and we had to go the next day. And it was just a whole, after that, that was a whole 2 weeks of nonstop work. Oh, go out, do this, do this, do that. Send the things to the washer, like get them washed. We had to get them to a person. Like, I thought I was gonna wash all of them. I would have died. I would be dead right now on the ground, like wasted. GTA wasted like this, bro. If I had done them myself, I only did the small carpets by hand, like the little ones that you would put like at the welcome on the door or something like that
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
size. And I only did those. I basically I took a brush and I washed them all. Um, then I washed the clothes because they got a little dirty. Um, I our house is small. We don't even have a washer room. So I had to take the what's it called? What's it called? How did I forget its name in English? The thing that washes the clothes. The
Like a
machine. Washing machine. The washing machine.
Oh my God, I'm English. I forgot. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Yeah,
The
washing
washing
machine.
machine. I had to take it out, like from the house. I had to carry it. Like it was a big one. It had the two tubs. I had to carry it.
Oh.
Yeah, to the outside. I have to do this every time I wash clothes now because there's not enough space in the house to like dry clothes and like put the water there and like everything. And so I had to take it out and I washed the clothes. It was such an exhausting 2 weeks. I'm still like literally, I've been sleeping 8 hours every day. I took like a 4 hour nap. I'm still sleepy. Like literally right now, I could just go to sleep. I could go to sleep for another 10 hours. And I bet
Mm.
you when I wake up, I go to sleep for another 10 hours. Because it's been such an exhausting 2 weeks. And I haven't been able to do like the voice acting stuff. I haven't been able to do any of that. Thankfully, I still got like I got a revision for a project and I got another project that I can't speak about because NDA.
Mhm.
And so thankfully, I'm still getting work. Um, I'm waiting on the agency. I still haven't gotten word back from the agency,
Oh
man.
man.
But I got to message them. I think on Wednesday I'm gonna shoot them a message and be like, "Yo, what's up, baby girl? I got 2 new projects. What's up?"
Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah,
there's no harm in shooting a message, is there?
yeah.
Just
So
giving them a
yeah,
heads up.
yeah. It's crazy these things come up. But it feels like my mom's retiring. I'm getting I'm getting my start in full time work finally. I'm the man of the house. It's like I just have a lot to look forward to in 2024.
Yes.
My goal for 2024 is just to completely turn my life around. I know I'm 18. I know I'm only 18. And this is the start of my life, pretty much my real life.
Mm.
But I want to turn my life around, man. I There's so much that has happened in my life. There's so much that needs to happen. There's so much I have to prove. Not just because, I have to prove it and this is just pressure on me or whatever. This is motivation. I'm inspired to do this. I don't feel like I'm not miserable doing this. Exactly what I want to do. Is I want to just completely, turn everything around and to, you know, because I've had a lot of opportunities um even though I had school, even though I had to tend to my studies and I had to tend to stuff at home, um, even though I had to travel, for example, back in 2022, before I traveled, I did that. I recorded for the movie, The Journey, like that type of stuff. Before my exams, 3 days before my exams, I recorded that Coca-Cola commercial. During my exams, I made music. That's the type of stuff that proves to me that I'm not like that. I can do whatever I want to do. I can do exactly what I set my mind to. And um like what I've achieved so far, I want to top that 100 times in 2024. And I don't know. I don't know. I'm setting that goal for myself now because um I've been waiting for this my whole life. I've been waiting for this moment. I was listening to this unreleased song by an artist that I like yesterday, and it's basically it's pretty much like a song about models and whatever stuff like that. But at the end, one of the singers said, "I've been waiting on this moment my whole life," and he said it was it's like such a passionate way, and I that resonated with me because genuinely, my entire life, at least since I was 15, since 2020, I have been waiting for this moment, school to end, us to have a house, everything to line up finally for me to be able to laser focus on what I want to do in my life. And I think things are lining up for me to actually do that, for me to, you know, um, reach out to those companies, for me to hopefully get signed to my dream agency, and to just put myself out there more and more. Um, Also, there's another goal that I really want to do. I really want to do this. I want to present for TEDx in Baghdad here. I really want to do that in 2024. Um, do you have any goals of I don't know if you have any goals of that magnitude. Your life is kind of in a different trajectory than mine. But I wonder, do you have that type of thing?
Um, so I don't really have um yearly goals so much
Yeah.
anymore. The last yearly goal is which was for this year, which I I would say I've fulfilled.
Yeah.
I haven't fulfilled it like literally fulfilled it, but I have to the point where I'm comfortable with saying, yeah, I've done this. Is
Yeah.
which sounds confusing, but it's basically I've got a lot of friends. You'll know one of them, Harry,
Yeah.
who we've met in Jigsaw's server.
Yeah.
So he introduced me to a load of other guys. Him and Justin introduced me to a load of other guys in Reading. And last year I met with them quite a bit, but it was like once every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
And I set a goal. I was like, I wanted to get away from my friends that I had growing up because they sort of got into more hard drugs, and I'm talking like cocaine, that sort of type stuff.
Mm.
Not too good to see. I mean, not all of them. One of them went to
Yeah. Yeah.
university, so I don't really see him a lot because he's just on the other side of the country. So, all right,
Yeah.
Godspeed to him. I love that guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, the rest of them, I wanted to cut free from. So I was like, right, well, I wanna see these guys that I play games with, that I meet every now and then. I wanna see them more often. So the goal I set for myself was go across to Reading once a month. See these guys once a month.
Yeah.
Um, which I have done. I haven't this month purely because it's close to Christmas and
Yeah.
I'm spending a lot of money. I'm seeing them at Christmas, which is
Yeah.
something. Um, but some months I've seen them. I think 2 months I've seen them twice. Like I went down one week, came back for a week, and then went down another week, and then sort of went back into the routine. So I've seen them. I've seen them probably about 14, maybe 15 times this year,
Yeah.
which is loads more than what I saw them before. So that was my goal for 2023, which I've
Mm.
succeeded. But I'm not making that a goal for 2024 because that's just my routine now. It's not
Yeah.
necessarily a goal. I guess if you want to give it a goal, it's to just maintain it. But I feel like I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that anyway. The goals that I would have are more life goals at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe not like life in the terms of like I want to like live in a three-story villa in Spain. I don't
Yeah.
know. That isn't certain. I'm not planning out my retirement or anything like that.
Yeah.
That can come later. But in my career, I've had goals,
Mm.
and like the first goal I had was to actually become a successful joiner.
Mm.
Maybe I'm not like successful in the terms of like I'm not like famous in the joinery sort of side of things in my part of the country or something like other people are. But I've got an award on my wall. I've trained up two people to do joinery. Um, I've got a team under me. I feel like I am successful in that.
Mm.
What I want to do now is climb the ranks,
Yeah.
and I can only do that in one of two ways. It's either my boss makes me like a workshop manager, which
Yeah.
I kind of am at the moment. I'm just not formally a workshop manager. I don't get paid
Mhm.
like a workshop manager,
Yeah.
but I have the authority of one, and I have the uh, responsibility of one. I'm in that
Yeah.
I'm in that sort of place. So to actually get called like by my boss and say like, look, you are now the workshop manager. I need you to like help me out with this thing. That
Yeah.
would be a goal I've got, or to leave where I am and actually start my own joinery firm, which
Ooh.
isn't necessarily a goal because it
Yeah.
scares the living hell out of me.
Yeah.
It's sort of, I'm used to taking big steps, but that is
A whole new
quite
world.
a big step, but also it's a huge risk because
Yeah.
I'm in such a good position where I am. And to leave that all behind and go, I'm going to start my own company and hire people that I've never met before to run my company, which might not even last a month, and then I'm back to square one, and I'm talking square one as in 6 years ago, square one.
Mm.
It's too big of a risk for me to take. Definitely now. Whether that changes, I mean, like the company I'm with might go under. Who knows? I mean, it's looking good
Yeah.
now, but it might go under, and then I might have my hand forced. So basically, my goal is to get higher than what I am now. Uh, but that's just me. I'm always
Yeah.
looking to better where I am. Um,
Yeah.
a bit like you, but I'm not necessarily like in such a perilous situation. I'm
Yeah.
very very comfortable with where I am. It would just be
Mm.
nice to climb the ranks,
Yeah.
which I understand. It's sort of like
You
the
just want to take the
thing,
next big step, but you are at a
yeah,
place where it's
yeah,
like, yeah,
which I
you don't
think,
need to take the risk, but it's more fulfilling if you were to do it.
yeah, um, yeah, no, exactly like that. I'm trying to make a new point here, and I'm trying to figure out how to start it. Something I sort of live by is, in order to succeed and grow, you have to not only grow, but actually recognize what you have. But
Yeah.
not only recognize what you have in a nice way, but recognize what you're not good at, where your weaknesses
Mm.
are. To understand your weaknesses is to grow. You know what
Yeah.
you have to improve, or even if you're so not good at that thing that it just isn't for you, it's recognizing that that thing just maybe isn't the way you're meant to go and trying out new things. I feel like I'd done that with engineering, definitely. That sort of moment where I realized, like, this isn't for me. It was recognizing it's not for me. But you also have it's sort of maintaining the balance of, to grow you have to understand what you want, but
Mm.
understand what you have, and recognizing risk. And risk is always good in my eyes,
Yeah.
but not too much.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it
Yeah.
goes wrong, that's it. You gotta
Yeah.
have something to fall back on.
I think
Yeah,
I think
that's I think what I'm trying to make.
you could take that step of I think what the next step should be. I don't know, it's just my perspective on your situation. If
Go
you
ahead.
wanted to start your own joinery company, um, I think the best step to take right now is to build more connections. I think
Absolutely.
it's
Mm.
to know more people because if you were to start a company, you have to start it with people that you trust, and you have to
Yeah.
start it with people that you know. And so you have to I think the goal that you should have for 2024 at least is just building a network of people that are like you or that do the same stuff as you or have the same passion as you, and maybe are willing to take that step in the future, or you see something in them, or at least you know people that are really good at what they do, and also outside of where you are right now. Like, you know, people outside of your current network, people that you may have never met before, or you wouldn't have thought to have met before, and just to find new ways of meeting and networking with those people. That's one of my
Mm.
goals, actually, is to meet people um, who are inclined to do what like that are passionate and inspired to not just with art stuff, but in general, just
Mm.
collaborators. That's really, really what I'm looking for right now in my life. Is I want to meet people who want to collaborate, to want to create big projects, um, people who are passionate about what they do, but are also really nice and really friendly and really open, you know, and aren't just closed off. Because there's a lot of professionals out there. Of course, there's a lot of people that love what they do and like what they do and are really good at what they do, but a lot of them are not nice, and a lot of them are not
Yeah.
open. and you just have to find the right people. I think that's really what you need. I think the next steps you should take are to network and to research and to build a net, build a base, build a little foundation, a little fence around something, a future project. In terms of like, you will have the right people, you have the right ideas, you have the right plans. And so when at some point, maybe as you said, if you had to do it, if the company that you're currently in went under, or if you wanted to take that next step, you would be like, yeah, I have this planned. I know this guy. I know this guy. I know this lady. I know this company that would help me. I know this property, this location, etc. I think that really is the next the next big goal and the next steps that you should really take. I don't know. That's just because that's really what I want to do, in my current place right now, is just have that type of foundation around me, be able to have those connections and know those people, is so important. In acting, it's the most important to have that. And I think, but in general, in building a business, it is also
Mm.
incredibly important. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. I think that's really cool that you have that in mind. I think that is definitely the logical next step for you, is to start your own business or climb up higher in the chain. Man, that would be so cool to see. So cool.
It
And
would be so cool to do, to be honest. But
you
it's
know what?
scary, you know?
I
Scary.
it's I mean, every big step is scary. Every big step is
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Man.
that's the thing. It's I oh my god, the children are screaming their
I
heart out.
heard that one. Wow.
Yeah, wow. Children in the background. What is going on? Torture. Are they gonna do it like in Morse code? Like, He's gonna, he's
It's
gonna do it
actually
instead of like the,
echolocation. They're just trying not to bump
yeah,
into things.
incredible, man. They don't have electricity. That's how bad Iraq is. But no, but like, oh yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, like fear. I think you're always gonna have that fear, even when you're gonna have that network and you're gonna know those people. You're still gonna be scared. Still gonna be like leaving something huge and starting something new. And but I think at the same time, enjoy what you have right now,
Yeah.
and take that all in and understand that and process that and live through that, and then you'll get to a point where you're like, yeah, I need change. You will need change at some point in your life. I think that's really beautiful in life, is that for me, what I'm really trying to understand is to process where I am right now. I always
Mm.
give myself time to process ideas and time to process emotions. And like, it's a delicate balance though, because at the same time, I don't want to I don't want to fall into it and completely lose track of things. Um, but I try to give my brain, like when I have a new thought or I go through something new or a new emotion, I let it run its course. I feel it as much as I can, and I just let it like flow like a river. I don't try to stop it. I don't like. I don't. That's the most important thing to me, is that I let things run. I let things move, and I think that's kind of maybe your life right now. You're just at a good place. That's
Yeah.
I'm really happy to see you where you are, and it's
Well,
really
thank you,
cool
man.
to see that you're fulfilled. I'm genuinely, you speaking to me about the stuff going on, like, genuinely makes me happy. The podcast people can't see the video, but we were speaking on video. I'm like smiling cheek to cheek when you were talking about that stuff, and I'm really happy for you, man. Um, and I hope the next chapter for you, whenever that is, you can't rush into things. You gotta let things run. You gotta let things around you uh, move in a certain way. And I know that in your mind it will click at some point. And I think that's
Thank you
that's
very
that's gonna
much.
be a point. Yeah, man.
Thank you.
I believe in the same thing for me as well. That's why I tell you that. It's because I don't really think that far ahead. I don't think that far ahead because I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who I'm going to meet. I don't know how my mindset is going to change. So I don't make those big plans like, oh, I'm going to move to that country because I don't know. I don't know. Am I going to go to college next year? Maybe. Is it going to be in Iraq? Maybe. I don't know. I just want to make enough money, and I just want to meet enough people and see enough things in my life to be at a point in 2024 where I'm going to be like, oh shit, this is totally new. I want it to
Mm,
be to feel like totally new. I don't like staying in the same place, and not just not location wise, but like in life. I just like moving. I like meeting new people, uh, getting new ideas and
yeah.
new goals. I really didn't understand goals before. You know, you say you don't really set goals for like years for yourself. I never did that. I didn't have the only goal that I had for 2023 was the only two goals that are really cemented in 2023 were I graduate, get an agent. I've done one. I need to finish the second, and I will be completely fulfilled.
You got a
So
month, man.
hopefully,
It'll happen,
yeah,
dude. It'll happen.
yeah.
Fingers
Fingers
crossed, dude.
crossed. Fingers crossed. Yeah. So yeah, I'm learning to make goals. I think it's gonna be like I think you're gonna have a great future ahead of you. You're a wonderful person,
Oh man, you're
Joe.
talking about me having a great future, dude. Like you think I was doing this at your age, dude? Like hell no. Nah,
Thanks,
dude. You've
man.
like
Yeah,
you've gave yourself a running start. You've got like a 10-second head start ahead of everyone else at your age, you know? You think you rank everyone else at your school's doing that? Hell no. You know,
yeah.
like the stuff you've done is amazing, you know, and it's due, you know, it's sure, maybe your connections had something to do with it, but you want to know why their connections had something to do with it? It's because they met you and they were like, actually, this guy's really good at what he does because you work hard at it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's really, really good to see, man. It's really good to see. I love seeing
It's
it.
I'm telling you something. It's not even I don't even have that many connections. Not at all. Every big job that I've landed was just because I put myself out there.
See,
And just because
exactly.
someone presented something to me at the right moment. For example, my first big break, The Journey, the anime film.
Mm.
That I I applied to that because a friend of mine on Twitter sent it to me. They were like, "Oh, they're looking for Arab voice actors." I shouted her out in episode 2 of the podcast. I think episode 2. Yeah, I think episode 2. Her name is Chara. She sent me a
Yeah,
casting
yeah,
call. They were
yeah.
looking for Arab voice actors. I just hit him up. I didn't even have a resume. I didn't have a headshot. I didn't have anything. I just hit him up, and they liked my demo. I made the demo. I knew that I would need that demo. I made it in early 2021 as soon as I got this microphone. I made that demo, and I sent it to them. And I never had experience in writing demos, doing demos, but my demos are good. It's proof. Like the fact that I got the a movie role, a movie
Yeah,
audition from a demo I produced, that proves a lot to me. And so
absolutely.
I think the most important part of like the career that I've developed so far is that I do think about the small details. I do think about what matters. I always think about what matters, and what helps me obviously is research. The
Mm.
most important thing, um, a lot of people go into voiceover classes, acting classes, stuff like that. That's admirable. I think that's really cool. But I think, what I learned as soon as I started researching and looking into voiceover is it's a business. It's a business at the end of the day. And it's dealing with people and it's making the right moves and making the right decisions. And, a lot of people educate themselves in the acting department. I educated myself in the business department. I listen to a lot of people on YouTube, uh, people like Bill Deweese. I listened to podcasts. I did a lot of research. I asked a lot of people. I got feedback so many times from my colleagues. I will always be thankful for them. And that's how I did it. I didn't like no one really, gave me a hand and like I was like, oh yeah, walk into this. I got you this opportunity just
Mm.
for you. Nobody ever did that for me. I got the ad with Zane because I reached out because presented myself.
Hell yeah.
I got the role for the game because I reached out. But what happens? Sorry for the movie because I reached out and they were doing a casting call, and the only time. And from the Zane thing, the first commercial that I did, the national commercial, um, from that, I got the Coca-Cola one. They just hit me up because I think they saw that. I think they heard my voice and they looked for who did it and they found me. So it's just, I'm very thankful. I think, it's a lot of it is blessings. A lot of things, it's just things coming at the right time. I've never been a religious person. You know that about me.
Yeah.
But lately I've just been appreciating, blessings. It's not really necessarily, blessing from somewhere specific, but it's just blessings in life. You're a blessing. My mom's a blessing. The person who, I've told this, who saw me, like when I was a kid, like just randomly walking on a bridge, and he was like, "Yo, check out, there's this school called Baghdad College." I would have never gone to that school. My life path would be completely different if it weren't for,
Completely different.
yeah, if it weren't for people like that, if it weren't for small blessings like that. So, I'm always going to be thankful for that. And, I hope that you have the same things coming forward for you, Joe, because you're going to have, as I'm saying, because, I think, uh, you know, you're moving in life. I hope that at some point, things click to where you want to level up. And I think when you
Yeah.
want to do that, it'll be so different. I will see a different Joe then. I believe that. You'll be, I don't know. I see, for some reason, when you say you wanted to start your own business, I just saw, I don't know why. It's nothing to do with the accent or being British. I just imagine Gordon Ramsay with his restaurants and restaurant chains and stuff like that, and becoming so successful and stuff like that. I just imagined that immediately. I was like, you're gonna. I hope you're gonna have that type of energy, and that type of hunger, and um, I really want to see that. And if you do, want to, you do want an advertisement or anything, you got the voice.
Oh man, I didn't even think of. I need to make a
Yeah,
company now just for that.
yeah,
That is amazing.
yeah, man. And
Oh,
no charge for you, Joe. No charge,
oh, I'll make you
bro.
a door with a triangle
Please,
right in the
yes,
middle.
please. I
It's
was
gonna be
gonna ask you
abstract.
actually. I need an abstract door, please, Joe. Right here, right here. I need to change this frame.
You
Please.
get 3. Don't worry about. I'm gonna send them all to you. It's gonna be
Oh,
brilliant.
thank God. Thank God. Yeah, man. Oh my God. This was the most fun episode, genuinely. The stuff we talked about.
I've had a brilliant time.
Same, man. This was amazing. This was so different from the other episodes. It was a lot more personal, but I like that. I think that's really cool. I think that's really
Yeah, it
cool.
was great.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be this is gonna come out on Wednesday. Because I don't want to, I don't want to ruin the schedule. And I have a lot of work lined up ahead of me, so I got to finish that work before I release this. So yeah, man, this has been amazing, amazing, amazing. Um, you know,
Absolutely, dude.
yeah,
I had such a good time. Such a good
it's
time.
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you on here, Joe. And you're a listener of the podcast. I don't know will you listen to this podcast episode after it comes
I'm
out?
literally thinking that right now. I'm thinking it right now. Cause like the thing I've got is I can't listen back to my own voice in my videos and not like cringe just a little bit. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But I will probably I'll probably listen to this one with my sister. I'll be like, listen to me. Look, I'm in podcast. I'm in podcast. Look. But oh yeah, I've had
Yeah, man.
such a good time.
Bro, I imagine a vision for you is I don't know. I'm just imagining this right now. I don't usually like speak this or whatever, but I'm imagining when you said you want to start a business, you want to level up, you want all that stuff. I don't know. I imagine you're gonna have your own business. You're gonna have a lot advertisements. I hope you have interviews. More like I hope this is a start point where you can be like, this is my first interview, and in the future you're gonna be talking about some crazy stuff, man. I really hope. I don't know. I just hope that for you. That's
Oh,
just
thanks,
me.
dude.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
No pressure though. No pressure though. Whatever you want to
I
do.
gotta live up to it now. I gotta live. Oh, I'll start my own business tomorrow, dude. I gotta do it now.
Yeah, man. Yeah, wonderful. And I just want to thank everyone for listening. I hope everyone really enjoyed the episode. I hope I don't miss another deadline. I hope I don't miss another episode. So you guys tune in to the next episode next Wednesday. All right.
Next.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you everyone for listening. Everyone, give Joe some love in the comments. I need that. I want. No one comments. Like 2 people comment on every video, but please do.
Thank you very
And
much.
yeah, thank you guys for listening. Bye bye.
Thank you.
And that's it. That's it, Joe.
Oh my God, I was on the Hussein Mohammed podcast.